Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Loshak and the Bag Show here again on another Tuesday here at Pub Sports Radio. Today is Tuesday, December 7th. I love doing this show every Tuesday with Jimmy the Bag, and today Jimmy the Bag is a little bit sick, a little bit under the weather, okay? So we're all going to support him, and I don't want to see anyone making fun of him in the chat section. I know when people are sick, it's funny. Look, it's 2021. It's still fun to kick people when they're down. I do it. I love it. We're progressing as a society, but for this show right here, right now, this Tuesday, we're going to support Jimmy the Bag through his mild to moderate illness, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to make some nice winning picks as usual, give some invaluable analysis as usual. Jimmy the Bag are getting our records in sync to make sure we don't report a record that's any bit off. But I look back at my records since I started tracking my own picks in the October 19th show, including all the tweets. I have myself as up in every single sport, but we're gonna get in touch with. We're gonna coordinate with Jimmy the Bag, make sure that we have our records absolutely perfectly in sync. Not that it really matters; it's just the right thing to do, which is what we always try to do on this show. So, Jimmy the Bag, tell us you're feeling a little bit under the weather. You'll be okay, right? How you feeling, Jim?
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just fine. We have been running very hot, though, in certain sports. I'm getting a feedback there, Pete, if you could fix that. Yeah, we're running very, very nicely. NHL especially. NHL, we are both, you're 31 and 21, 59.6%, up 7 units. ROI plus 13.46%. I'm 76 and 72, 51.4%, but plus 7.46 units. Average line plus 108, so very good there. Coming off our 6th straight winning week in NFL. 6 in a row, which feels very good. I did lose my 11-game winning streak in CFL, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. Thank you all so much for joining us. Looking forward to this show. We got Brian Watson, Viper NB in the house. Dan Kelly says they should just change the name of the NFL Coach of the Year trophy to the Bill Belichick Trophy. Just give it to him until he retires. It was an impressive coaching performance last night. Von Polo talking about the terrible news that we have in the horse racing circles. A lot of anger being thrown towards Bob Baffert, and I understand why that is. And it's sad, very sad, very, very, very sad stuff going on over there. But we are here to cap sports today. Dan Kelly in the house, Sammy Culmer, JM, Gerald Jones, Michael Irvalina, 7 for 8. Nice job. Coming off a big, big day. Matty Ice, star of the taint, play of the day. DX Filer, Roxer 82, Nut Flush, Allen. What a great, great group. Von Polo says the horse racing community should be ashamed. So he thinks that I should be ashamed of myself as well, I guess. Serious business in the house. Paco Healy, Deacon Mike, TJ. Another plus money week in golf, up over 10% ROI. Only betting head-to-heads. Excited for 2022, TJ. Great, great work. Pistol Pete being shouted out by our guy Steve, Paco Healy, Christopher Carter, Deacon Mike, Birdie. What an NFL game. 11-0-1 in that game last night. Just a glorious situation, says Birdie. Mark Schillingberg, Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast. We have Trot Wam. Trot Wam, I didn't get a chance to send you a link. I hope Jose did. I think we'll be ready for you at 12, right at 12. So in 53 minutes, Billy Moss, Christopher Compton says how easy was the Canucks last night after Benning was canned. I stayed away from it, but I respect that you got it. Let's go, Brandon. And Taint Play of the Day is in. We will go over that in NCAA basketball here shortly. Toledo minus 4.5 from Matty Ice. Great, great group ahead of us. Pete, how are you feeling today? As I am a little ill, how are you?
I'm feeling good. I feel like I have a very good read on NHL, Jimmy the Bag, and I tweeted out a few winners. Today's card, I feel like I'm seeing some good stuff in the NBA once again. I'm trusting myself a little bit more in the NBA. Since I started doing shows again with you guys, I felt that every NBA card, because we do it on Tuesday, there's only a few games, and there's always a few plays that look to my eye to be pretty obvious to me. And, at first I wasn't trusting that, and I held off, and I forfeited positive units on my record. Then I started trusting a little bit more, and I've done well with it. And I'll tell you what, we only got 3 games tonight on the NBA card, but I think I'm seeing a few other plays like that. We'll see what Trot Wam has to say, but I'm thinking there's a few pretty obvious, clear, no-brainer plays on the NBA card tonight. And college basketball, the 4 games we're scheduled to cover. I don't have any picks on those, but it'll be great to talk about it. And okay. Physically, I'm feeling well. Mentally, I'm feeling well. Handicapping-wise, I'm feeling well. Financially, I'm feeling well. Romantically, I'm feeling well. It's all pretty good, Jimmy the Bag.
That's good. I would like just to go over it because I don't want to sit here and fucking whine about it. But this was my NBA card on Friday, and I've not bet since. So I had Cavs first half +2 cashed by 30. I took the Magic on the money line at +125. I could have had them +2.5. They lost by 2. So that was a loss. I had Pelicans +6.5. They won outright by 15, but I also had Pelicans first quarter +2, which lost. I had Jazz -8. They won by 7. And I doubled up on Warriors first half and full game. I didn't take the first quarter. Like I said, I was going to triple up. I decided just to double up because I didn't want to invest too much money on it. And they didn't cash the first half and easily covered the full game. So when I look at those picks from Friday, I could have easily been 7-0. And instead, it's 3-4. I'm just snake bitten NBA, and I'm angry. I'm angry about it. So I'm happy that we're going to be back in action. Trot Wam will be joining us. I'm happy that we start with NHL, where we've been absolutely rolling. I had a huge week in NHL.
Yeah.
So
look, I mean, if you ask me, my take on that is, dude, NHL is to my eye pretty beatable, and you're particularly good at it. And the NBA. Some people who know what they're doing and know what to look for are great at it, but I still, I do 1 card a week, 3 games, and I'm happy with that. But in general, day in and day out, the NBA is very frustrating and confounding. And but then people say that about baseball, and I feel like I have a good handle on baseball, but NBA is extremely tough, Jimmy the Bag, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I get it. I felt like I was on the right side with every one of those bets. So it was just being snake bit this year. I've had 3 losses on the money line where it was under 3. It would have been a cash had I just taken the spread. So I'm just a little frustrated. But I am ready to get to work.
Right. Can I address just a couple comments here?
Sure, please do.
Yeah. People think it's funny that I said romantically Pete is feeling well, and then Deacon Mike goes, I was going to ask, what's his name? Deacon, I'm not going to tell you his name on air, obviously. I was just, commenting on how I was feeling. So, sorry, Deacon Mike. I know you'd like to know his name. You're not going to get it. But, I'm doing well overall is what the point is.
You are. I feel that emanating from you. Let's get right to work. We have a huge NHL card. Again, Pete and I combined right now, just under, plus 14.46 units in the NHL, and feel good. And I feel re-energized. There's Red Girl in the house right now. Those of you who've hung with us and run with us since the very beginning know how important Red Girl is to our group here. And some of you guys may not know that she was blindsided in her car and it got all banged up, and she's got a GoFundMe going on right now here. I'm going to pop the link here in the chat. I am going to be putting it out to see if we can get some support for it here tomorrow. The last few days have been a mess for me here, but I'm just going to pop that right there. There's the GoFundMe for our Red Girl. If you could just pop on and help her. She's been such a big part of what we've done over the last 5 years, so we love her very, very much. Okay, let's get right to work. Pete, you want to get this rolling?
All right, let's do it. Yeah, we start out with we go upward. We move upward in terms of expertise, and obviously Jimmy the Bag, you're just a master. Just a freaking master of NHL. I didn't get it. I wanted to tweet it out publicly, but what a great call on that Dallas game. Not just saying it was a good play, but labeling it the most offline in NHL to date. Great call, Jimmy the Bag. There's a couple of games where I'm really going to be interested to see what you have to say as far as how we analyze NHL games are concerned. So let's get into it. First game is Columbus and Toronto. One thing that I think I'm pretty good at, Jimmy the Bag, in the NHL is pulling the trigger on massive, enormous favorites. I do that. You've seen me do it, Jimmy the Bag. I get burned here and there, but I think overall I'm up on those units. And here we have another one. Toronto minus 250s, 260s against Columbus. How big of a favorite should Toronto be? Obviously, they're the far superior team. Columbus off a win. Toronto's off of 2 straight losses against tough teams. A bit of a tough scheduling situation for them as well. I'm looking at this. I'm thinking probably good idea to pull the trigger on Toronto -1. What do you think, Jimmy the Bag?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't think it's a good idea. And I've gone. Sorry, I'm just going to put this out for you here quickly for Von Polo asking for the update. There you go from NFL. It's a nice week. 5-3 plus 1.6 units. Okay, back to this spot here. And again, in Von Polo, I'm sick and pissed off and shit. People are very, very upset about Medina Spirit. So don't think people aren't extremely angry right now. But to put it across all of horse racing, it makes me a little uncomfortable. But you have every right to be upset, and everybody has every right to be upset. Okay, let's get to work. 7 p.m. here. So Birdie took Blue Jackets here full game. Says there's way too much value on the Blue Jackets. I bet the Blue Jackets first period at plus 175. He says the Leafs are struggling. I can't say that the Leafs are struggling because of one bad game. I thought they played pretty well in Minnesota. I think Minnesota is the best 5-on-5 team in the NHL. Not the best team in the NHL, but the best 5-on-5 team in the NHL. The question is, how does a team like the Leafs dial it up for the Columbus Blue Jackets after a very emotional game against the Jets? I don't know. I don't know if these are the players that I would count on to be locked in right when this game starts against the nondescript, nobody cares about Columbus Blue Jackets team. So I think that anytime a team comes to Toronto, you're very likely to get their best effort. When the Columbus Blue Jackets come to Toronto, after a very emotional game where Sandin gets kneed and Pionk gets a 2-game suspension, it looks like Spezza's now going to be suspended or could be suspended. Can you trust that the Leafs are going to put out their best effort here against the Blue Jackets at least early? That's my thought, and I can't. I can't. So I love that Birdie took the Blue Jackets full game. I'm on the Jackets first period. Jackets snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 6-4 win at home over the Sharks on Sunday. They were playing good hockey, 20% power play, 84.1% penalty killing. Merzlikins 10-4-0, 2.72 goals against average, 920 save percentage. Jack Campbell is, for the Leafs, is the best goalie in the league right now. The Leafs come in off their second straight loss, very emotional. Sandin gone. Marner did not play Sunday against the Jets. He got hurt in practice on Friday. Didn't dress in Minnesota. Didn't dress in Winnipeg. And they said that was a precautionary measure. I don't know. Newkirk asking if Marner's back tonight, and Slatsy says Marner's on injured reserve. So I don't know. I guess if he's now being put on injured reserve, that must have happened within the last hour or so. I don't think he was initially on. Let me check if he was initially on injured reserve here very quickly. But yeah, Pete, this is all about, like what we talked about. Yeah, I don't have him on injured reserve. Maybe that must have happened. Oh, he just did, yes, at 10:26 a.m., less than an hour ago. All right. Okay, yeah. So, Pete, what we were talking about, so a couple of the things why we fade a team, and what are the best situations to fade a team. When do you want a favorite against a bad hockey team? Is when like the Vegas 7-1 win when Vegas had lost 2 out of 3, or those types of situations. I don't know how anybody can expect this Leafs team to be dialed up when I can expect the Blue Jackets to be. That's my take.
Because they were clearly rolling in a major way, had a huge win at home against Colorado, and then they went on the road and took 2 tough losses against tough teams. I mean, Winnipeg resurging is a tough spot for them, especially on a back-to-back. 2 forgivable losses against tough teams, and now they're coming up against back home against a team that is where they clearly outmatched them. You label Campbell as the best goalie in NHL right now. He's starting, and then the line is big, but it's not one of the minus 300s that we've seen. All those are my reasons why. Does it make sense to you, Jim?
No. I just don't. I just don't see how the Leafs are going to be dialed up here on a Tuesday night against a team that we know will be. Now, I don't have the balls to take Columbus full game. I just take them first period here. We had huge scores on Friday with the Senators first period and the Sabers first period, plus 180, plus 195 respectively. Now, the Sabers ended up losing that game after a 3-0 lead, while the Sabers ended up losing that game after the 3-0 lead. The Senators ended up winning outright. Look, Pete, yes, the Maple Leafs are a much better team. I'm not certain they'll be dialed up. I don't think it's a bad look on the -1 line. I just don't know if they're going to be dialed up.
Okay, well, maybe I shouldn't do it, but I have a few units of cushion now in NHL. I'll take it. Toronto -1, -169. That's the current line at Pinnacle. I understand what you're saying, Jimmy the Bag, and you're probably right. In terms of your analysis, I'll take it. Toronto -1, -169. Official.
All right, it is locked in for yourself. All right.
Is Toronto, just one quick question, is Toronto banged up or hurt or anything? I know that they
they have. Well, they've lost Sandin. There's only two defensemen that can skate the puck out of their end zone, and that's Sandin and Riley. In my estimation, there's only two defensemen who can skate the puck out of their end zone. And then they've lost Marner, who's a star. So
those are pretty serious problems, right?
They're still a much better team than Columbus.
Right. Still a much better team, huh?
Yeah, but I had no concern when you took the Wild -1. I thought it was funny.
Right.
It's humorous. This one
it's not funny.
It makes not funny.
It's not funny. All right, let's hold off. Maybe I'll make a decision at the end of the show. I'll hold off on making that official. Okay, Jimmy the Bag?
Okay, sure. Well, I'll put the two questions beside it right now.
Right. So it's not official yet.
TJ says, anyone do +1 lines, Columbus +1 and +150? Why not? I tell you why not, just because of empty net goals. I just don't find any value. You could be completely right about a game and then lose the empty net goal and lose that +1. I mean, I get it because you're not turning a dog into a favorite. I don't think there's anything really wrong with it. I just personally don't like it.
All right. Okay. So I'll think about that. It's not official yet for me. Okay, Jim?
Okay, I've got question marks on it. Bill Butlicker, by the way, in the chat. Our old friend.
Huge shout out to Bill Butlicker.
Our old friend.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let's keep rolling.
Tampa Bay, Montreal. Fascinating game here, Jimmy the Bag. Of course, Tampa Bay is awesome, but there are spots where it's a good idea to fade them. And first game of the year was one of those. And Jimmy the Bag, you called that one, nailed it. A rematch of the Stanley Cup Final. Montreal, obviously, overall awful and pathetic. They have not turned it around yet, but and the line has moved a huge amount in Tampa Bay's favor since opening. Vasilevsky will be back in goal for Tampa Bay, I assume. But I'm thinking at this line, giving everything, factoring everything in there, might be worth a shot if the line climbs high enough to take a chance with Montreal getting a surprise win here. Kucherov and Braden Boyd are still out for Tampa Bay. That guy Nick Suzuki maybe starting to play a little bit better for Montreal. The line is climbing. Maybe they really get up for this game and they're like, all right, we've lost 15 out of our last 18, but let's fucking win this one right here, right now, tonight against Tampa Bay at home. What do you think? Montreal's a big dog. Is that worth a play, Jim?
I don't think under any circumstances you can bet Montreal. In fact, I was late to the party here. I had so much stats and stuff I had to do for the show, breaking down everybody's stats and all that stuff, and record keeping stuff that took hours and hours. And so I didn't get to the actual capping of this game till too late, till after the big market move. Already bet Habs Montreal, Habs money line. It's a situational bet for me. Bet on the team that lost Stanley Cup. I just couldn't believe this Montreal Canadiens roster, and I bet the Lightning -1.5 and +150.
Wow.
So you have Tyler Toffoli out now. He is their leading scorer, and he's very important player to this team. You still have Josh Anderson out, so that now you have your two best wingers out of the lineup. You have Jeff Petrie doubtful. For the first half of last year, I thought he was the favorite to win the Norris Trophy. Joel Edmondson still with his back injury. is not available. You have Brendan Gallagher out with COVID. He's just so important to this club. So I just named. Oh, you have Joel Armia, doubtful, who's also an important winger, important defensive winger, important penalty killer. And my initial thought here, when I just saw the names of these two teams, was, wow, the same thing as you. Wow, Lightning without Kucherov. They still don't have Kucherov. They still don't have Point. They still don't have Cernak. And then I look closer at what's happening in Montreal. And then one thing you can count on is that players are going to be fired up to play in the Bell Center in Montreal. You can count on that always. No matter who you're playing against, you're playing in Montreal. You see the Stanley Cup banners. It's like when the Yankees were bad, you still cared about playing, Yankee Stadium. And that's a similar situation going on here. So I moved on Lightning -1.5 and plus 115. I think this Montreal team is going to lose 10 straight games.
Wow, really? They're that bad, huh? So they're not turning it around at any point in the near future, unlike Winnipeg or some other teams we've seen.
No, I think they can. I don't think they suck or they're a horrible team or anything like that. They have excuses as to why they're so bad. Right. Big shout out to Arthur Meade Jr., who gave us $5 dono. What a great guy. Thank you for your support here, my man. Arthur Meade Jr., we love you. You can't take these players out of the lineup and still expect any form. You're taking out too many crucial pieces. I mean, right. Toffoli, Anderson, and Gallagher are forwards that you would want on a Stanley Cup winning hockey team, in my estimation. That's how good they are. That's how quality they are. That's how accountable they are. And you take them off the ice, well, then how are you going to be able to do anything? I mean, how is Suzuki supposed to? So I know that they don't always keep Cole Caulfield with Suzuki, but you need a Josh Anderson on the wing to make that whole line work. You need a tough guy who takes the puck to the net. With their makeup, I just don't know how they could possibly, do anything.
So maybe an under, maybe, or
maybe a Montreal team total under.
Right.
I don't know what that would be right now. This was a spot where I started looking at the lineup for the Montreal, and I felt bad for them. And that's the first time I've ever felt any pity for the Montreal Canadiens.
All right. Quickly, I want to address one thing. Tim Montana BX says it's my birthday. Sorry, Jimmy?
Yeah, and Real Deal Prime.
Yeah, he says, ask Pete if you don't mind giving me a birthday pick. Yes, sure. I will. Any birthday request, unless there's obvious reasons why I should reject it. I am compelled by the universe to oblige. So happy birthday to you, Tim Montana BX, and yes, I will give you a birthday pick. Happy birthday to Real Deal Prime as well. He didn't specifically request a pick. He just said it's his birthday. Happy birthday. So there you go, Real Deal Prime. I only, of course, give birthday picks to people who specifically request a birthday pick, not just people who just let me know that it's their birthday. Happy birthday to you, though, Real Deal Prime. Hope this year is great for you. All right, I'll pass, Jim. I'll pass for now.
Yeah, look, Birdie says we won a junior tournament with 8 skaters in the final versus a team with a full bench. When you're kids, you can skate for days. I think the key part of this is that teams will play hard at the Bell Center, regardless of who their opposition is. So, Clint asking if this is a look-ahead spot for the Lightning. I mean, this is their 3rd game in 4 nights and their 4th game in 6 nights. That's enough to make you be concerned about backing a Lightning squad. But look at the lineup. I mean, it's a really tough lineup. So I think that the Lightning are going to take care of things.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on. There might be better spots on the card. You ready to move on, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah, let's do it.
Islanders and Ottawa. This might be one of those spots, right? Ottawa was depleted by COVID losses earlier in the year. They lost 10 in a row, however much it was, and then they got a bunch of guys back, and then they started winning, getting some nice wins for Ottawa. Same deal with the Islanders. They had a bunch of guys out due to COVID. Now they've got them all back except for that one guy, the center, Cizikas, and they still haven't won, but they're knocking at the door, right? 3 straight games, all went to OT. I think the difference with the Islanders, though, is they do still have other key, huge injuries that are not COVID-related. Brock Nelson, leading scorer, and that defenseman Ryan Pulock. I remember looking at the Islanders in the beginning of the season, and Ryan Pulock rated very highly according to some of the numbers that I looked at, some of the analytics I looked at. So I'm not sure how we would rate the Islanders right now in terms of talent and strength, despite the fact that they got all the guys back from COVID. But they're probably, I have to assume, going to win sometime. Maybe we don't want to take them as a big favorite like they are tonight, but maybe this is a shot. Islanders first period. What do you think?
That was my initial thought, but Ottawa is just that much further along getting healthy off of COVID than the Islanders, and what Birdie was talking about. He was like, "Watch this Senators team; they're going to catch fire. Because they're a good young hockey team, and they were destroyed by COVID. That was a big win in Carolina, and you guys have seen what a hockey team looks like without 3 of their top 6 defensemen, now 2 of their top 6 in the Hurricanes. So it wasn't a full victory there for the Senators, but I can't make a bet on this hockey game from a side perspective here. Islanders coming in off their 11th straight loss, 3-2 at home in a shootout to the Blackhawks. Their last 3 losses have come in either overtime or a shootout. But this is their 3rd game in 4 nights and 4th game in 6 nights. And this is a team that's trying to get healthy again. Well, that's not a recipe to get better off of COVID. So Ottawa in the second half of a back-to-back after winning their 3rd straight game 3-2 in New Jersey last night. Yeah, they're vulnerable here. Anytime you're on the second half of back-to-back, you're vulnerable. But the Islanders are a tired squad too. I found this a very, very difficult game to wrap my head around and to figure out. But my first instinct was the same as yours, that what the Islanders are going to put it together at some point. But why would it be here necessarily? And I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, I was thinking maybe about the under or the first period under, but it's probably going to be this guy Gustafsson, the goalie Gustafsson. He's gotten lit up a bunch of times this year, right? 4, 5, 7 against Colorado. Is he just an absolute sieve, S-I-V sieve?
No, I think these young goaltenders in Ottawa have potential. So, no, I don't think the sample size is enough for Gustafsson. Varlamov, is it going to be Varlamov? Have they decided who's in goal for the Islanders?
I see unconfirmed Sorokin's
very good. Yeah, I get it. I completely get it. Maybe are you going to be ahead of the market betting the Islanders now? Or is a team coming off all this COVID damage in their 3rd game in 4 nights and 4th game in 6 nights not that spot where they turn it around?
The 2 injuries that I mentioned before, right? Nelson and Pulock, those are huge, right?
Pulock is huge. This team has a lot of forwards that can deliver. Okay. They have a lot of depth from forwards that, they lost Palek to COVID, and then Pulock to the injury. The
guys who came back from COVID, are they any good, or do they mostly suck?
Oh, they were decimated by COVID. It was a huge. Both these teams. These are the 2 teams that were hit the hardest from COVID this year, and at that point, the capping becomes extremely difficult. I just feel like at that point, I just don't feel comfortable. I don't mean to repeat myself, but if this is a tired Islander squad and a tired Senator squad, and the Senators are closer to healing from all the COVID woes that they've had than the Islanders, it's not an angle that I can trust here.
Okay, sounds good. I identify.
I have a play here.
Wow. And that is considered breaking news now. Jesus.
Yes, it's the only way to get your guys' attention, and it's a good way to drop in. The Say Hey play is back, everyone. And we're a winning capper again, god damn it.
You are a winning capper again. You had a nice little Friday and Saturday for yourself. You cashed the parlay. You cashed UTSA a money line and UTSA by the points. So you're right. You are a winning capper. What's your look here?
Well, Jim, you're very bullish on the Islanders. I thought we were gonna go in on this together. I'm gonna do something I don't do very often. I'm gonna do 2 hockey plays here. I'm doubling up on the Islanders. I'm taking their money line, the fucking expensive ass 150. We're eating that, and I'm taking the puck line -1.5 plus 170.
Wow.
All right.
The boys are back. They're buzzing. We need it. And then you said a bunch of games in a row is not great for COVID. We got the legs back, Jim. We're getting back in shape. Best way to get back in shape is running and skating. That's what we're doing.
May the hockey gods bless you on this journey, Jose.
Grade A NHL analysis from Jose Bouquet. Hell yeah.
Islanders -150 and the puck line 1.5 at plus 170 for Jose. All right.
His main handicapping factor is that the Islanders are running around and skating again. Huge handicapping factor that's often overlooked in the NHL, right, Jim?
Hey, he's a winning capper.
That's all that matters. Yeah. That is all that matters. All right. I was leaning that way myself. Now I'm very happy I didn't pull the trigger on it officially. So I'll think about it, but let's move on, right, Jim?
Let's do it.
All right, another interesting game, Nashville and Detroit. Detroit is kind of a young, scrappy team. I kind of had them circled at the beginning of the year based on our preseason breakdowns as a team that, was probably going to be mediocre, but maybe a good bet in spots. And I've acted on that all year long and mostly done well with it. Also, pulling triggers on relatively inexpensive team total overs with them. They're scrappy. They got 2 great rookies, right? Lucas Raymond and that guy Moritz Seider playing great. And the team that I still am looking at in general to not be an elite team, but to be a team with value in spots. And maybe this is one of them. Going up against Nashville, I know you're pretty down on Nashville, but in the last video that we did where there was a Nashville game, I remember that Clint from MMA Podcast was very high on Nashville, saying that he wasn't too bad, he wasn't too down on them as a team. We labeled Saros as a beast in goal, which I think I would mostly agree with, although I'm certainly no expert on analyzing NHL goalies, but it seems to me that he's someone that makes me nervous betting against. So I know you've been, in general, down on Nashville all season long. I'm thinking maybe this is a situation to once again take a shot with Detroit at a relatively cheap line. What do you think?
That was my initial feeling in this game. And look, I love what Lucas Raymond is doing, but the best player on this Red Wings team is Tyler Bertuzzi, and it's by a lot. Lucas Raymond may end up being the best player on this team, but Bertuzzi has that kind of toughness that is very, very, very difficult to find. And he and Mark Stahl are out with COVID, and Gustav Lindstrom is out with a lower body injury. So Gustav Lindstrom is the bottom 2 defenseman. And maybe Marcus Stahl is as well. So this isn't like you're taking the 2 top defensemen off this team, but you are taking 2 of their top 6 defensemen off this team, and you're taking Tyler Bertuzzi, their, best player in my estimation. And they've won 5 straight games, and I can't back them here. I have not been losing money fading the Predators, thankfully. Birdie very early in the year was like, this team is well coached. They're firing on all cylinders. They're completely healthy. They have a 22.9% power play, 78.2% penalty killing. And as you said, UC Saros giving them good goaltending. I don't think they're that good of a hockey team, and I will fade them often. But I don't see it here. This is tough. I find this is a difficult spot. Matty Ice on the wings and the under. The under's taken a ton of cash over the last little bit. So it's this is a kind of feels like a coin flip game, and I can't back the Red Wings without Bertuzzi.
Yeah, I was, shout out to Diehard MMA Podcast, had a great read on a Nashville game. The last video that we did, he clearly, I think you have a small disagreement with him on the Predators. He's not as down on the Predators as you are. He's very high on Saros. Are you high on Saros in general, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah, I think he's a good young goalie. Yeah.
A beast?
I don't know if we give him, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, these young goalies who come out of the gate so strong, Merzlikins and Saros, their save percentage has just been going down since then. So, we'll see. It's a very, very tough, long season. So we'll see.
And here we go. You know how much I love these kinds of comments. Turnsy66 says, I'm a diehard Wings fan. I don't like this spot for the Wings. That kind of comment weighs very heavily on me, as you know, Jimmy the Bag.
Yeah, it makes me very uncomfortable here. You have a team that's won 5 straight. You have a team that's 9-2-2 at home against a team that's 5-5-1 on the road. Shouldn't they be minus 150? Why are they not minus 150 if they're 9-2-2 at home? Well, we talked about the pieces that they're missing, and Predators are completely healthy, and they're fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, both teams are. Both teams are coming off games on Saturday night. Harold Williams, it was a good day. 5-3 plus 1.6 units in football on Sunday. It was a good day. Good day.
Now I'm thinking about maybe Nashville team total over. Let's see who's in goal for Nedeljkovic is expected for Detroit. That's not confirmed though.
Yeah, I think Nedeljkovic will be in net for them. Yeah.
Is Detroit a solid defensive team? They've seems like at home against crappy teams they kind of do tend to hold them down.
Yeah, they do, but now you have 2 of their 6 defensemen out of the lineup. So, yeah, both teams have penalty killing under 80%. I mean, imagine what the Red Wings record would be if they had decent special teams. Their power plays at 14.9%. Their penalty killing is 75.3%.
What line did you put on this game? It looks like there's been a huge move to Nashville.
Oh, wow. That must have been recently because there was let me move over here. It was a pick'em this morning early.
Okay, wow. I'll make Nashville team total over official. I'm seeing 2.5 minus 139. I'll make that official. Nashville team total over 2.5 minus 139. That's official. First NHL official play for me of the card.
What was that? What was minus 139?
Minus 139, yes.
All right, Pete is in. Slat says, I can't believe how good Duchesne looked versus the Habs. I thought his career was over. That's what makes me the most frustrated watching him, is that he's capable of making Team Canada. That's a problem. Eddie Weller says trend where the teams play in Edmonton and then in Vancouver the very next night, and the Canucks are rested is looking in favor of Vancouver. That happens next on December 12th versus Carolina. Yeah, it's always been something we've looked for, but the Canucks team is very hard to trust. Very, very hard to trust. And then Slatsy talking about, obviously I've wanted Benning fired for so long. And when I found out, it was after a great day at Woodbine and with horses on Sunday. And I was, at a poker table and I was intoxicated and I freaked out. I was so happy that they fired him. But then you wake up in the morning and you still know that Aquilini runs the team and it's his fault. It's all his fault. So how much will change with Aquilini's hands still up the ass of whoever is the general manager? I don't know. I hate Aquilini more than I hate Benning. I hate Aquilini the most. I hate Aquilini more than any sports figure in the entire world. Okay, let's keep rolling, Pete.
Yeah, I'm just Matty Ice says Wings don't give up goals at home, which is kind of true, except for the last few games. But that's basically kind of true. But all right, I made it official. I'll go with it. I'll stay with it. I'll stick with it.
All right, let's roll.
All right, next game. Ready to move on, Jim?
Yes.
All right, next game, Anaheim, Buffalo. Anaheim, of course, lost in OT last night at Washington. Now they've lost 6 of 9. Buffalo, though, after starting the year, surprising some people, including myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people, now they're really losing, right? 4 straight losses, lost 8 of their last 9. They're giving up a ton of goals here and there. But they are supposed to be, but I really wanted to get your long-term, lifelong NHL expertise on. They're starting this new guy, youngster, making his NHL debut, right? Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, one of these guys with way too many K's and U's in his name. And, he's highly touted, but his AHL stats this year so far are not good. And so, it reminds me in baseball when you have a highly touted starting pitcher who comes up to the majors and, he has a huge reputation, but his minor league numbers were not necessarily that great. It's kind of a case-by-case basis. There's no hard and fast rules for that. With a goalie like this, though, I'm not sure. When you see a situation like this, Jimmy the Bag, what are your first thoughts?
I agree with you. I actually think of baseball, too. I immediately think of these kids coming up with a 5.5 ERA, and my instinct was, oh God, this guy's trash, and then he throws a gem. So his numbers are bad. They were bad this year in Rochester. They were bad last year in Rochester. In the ECHL in 2019-2020, they were average. So yes, he was picked in the second round, 54th overall, but he's not showing anything here. Now, I understand why they don't want Aaron Dell between the pipes.
Right.
And also, this total started creeping down as soon as they announced Luokkanen. So I moved on the over thinking, well, it has to be Dell. So I bet the over.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't know. This is a very tricky question. I don't know what Luokkanen's going to give you.
I mean, the difference, of course, in between starting pitchers and goalies is that my sense is that I know that in baseball, a starting pitcher's statistics are almost entirely, not 100%, but almost entirely predicated on himself. Whereas my sense is that in the NHL in general, a goalie's ultimate final stats have a lot more to do with the entire system and who's playing in front of him than not. I mean, if he's got a bunch of people playing in front of him in the AHL who can't stop anything, he's going to be vulnerable no matter what. Whereas when he comes up to the big leagues, he's got professional defensemen and professional system set up to protect him, right?
Yeah, I think that's well put. I think that it helps if you have that's what Birdie was saying about Holtby. When I was shitting all over Holtby, he was saying, watch Holtby in front of a better team, and Holtby's been much better than he was last year. So I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah. All right. I guess because of all the unknowns here, I'm gonna pass. I assume you are as well. And Anaheim is supposed to be starting that guy Stolarz, right? And he hasn't played much this year, but he's been good so far.
Yeah, and I don't believe it. I don't buy it at all. So I bet the over 6, and I would prefer that Dell was in net, but. This is the main reason why. This Ducks team has so much speed and so much skill, and they need Ryan Getzlaf and Adam Henrique in their lineup so badly. You need veteran leadership. You need guys who can win faceoffs. Henrique is a winger, but he's a great faceoff man. So basically with Getzlaf and Henrique, you've taken their best 2 faceoff men off of the team, and they're the guys that guarantee you defensive responsibility and accountability. Henrique's played a lot of center in his life. He just, for this team to be a top 6 forward, he plays on the wing. But I think it hurts them immensely to not have these 2 players in the lineup. But they're still going to be able to score. But they can't be trusted in the most important moments of the game, like if they're trying to take care of a lead, or if they're. So I think that this sets up. Also, the Sabers are a fresh team. They have 4 straight loss, 6-2 at the Hurricanes on Saturday night. And the Ducks are a tired team. To me, it leads to an over. And I bet the over 6. I got minus 115, but it had moved to minus 120, and then it moved back to minus 115. And I probably should have just stopped at that point. When it moved back to minus 115, it was because I guess they announced that Aaron Dell wasn't going to be in that. And so the Pinnacle, it's moving very quickly to the under. But I don't know. So it's now minus 170. The over 6 is at plus 104 right now at Pinnacle. But if I was looking at this Ducks team without Henrique and Getzlaf, I don't know how they're going to keep it defensive. So, and Turnsey saying Henrique, one of the most underrated players in the NHL. So I'm on the over 6, but I wanted Dell in that.
All right. Well, it sounds like a lot of people are vaguely agreeing with you. They're saying that that Buffalo gives up a lot of goals because of their system, not because of the goalie. So that's good. And and you're not high on the Anaheim goalie either. So I mean, the Buffalo's been a dead over team for a while now. So that makes sense to me. I'll pass on it, but you made that official, right?
Yes, I did. I'm on the over 6 at minus 115.
Want to move on to Florida, St. Louis?
Let's do it.
All right, Florida, St. Louis. Of course, it's a rematch of the last game they both played. Florida won 4-3 in a shootout. Florida obviously is a beast of a team. They just are, they're a team where I'm looking at, as far as team total is concerned, is basically a team total over or pass every time out for Florida. I'm thinking just because of the way the first game went, maybe St. Louis first period or St. Louis first period goal. Florida's tended to give up goals in the first period, so I'm thinking maybe a shot with St. Louis to score a goal in the first period. That's what I was thinking about. Let me see. But the Blues do have a bunch of guys out though with COVID, right? They have 2 defensemen out, right, and then they got a bunch of forwards who are also injured. So they've got a bunch of injuries. Kind of a lot of injuries actually. They're like legit depleted. So maybe betting on just Florida for another win at the low line is the way to go here. Is St. Louis seriously depleted, Jim?
I asked myself that same question, and I looked at the players. I was like, because they're not very important. Of the important players who are out for them, it's Perron, and of course their goalie Binnington and Robert Thomas. It's Perron and Thomas, and everybody's so pumped up about this Panthers squad, and in this game we saw the huge market move take place when as people, I imagine, expect Barkov to be back in the lineup because he was with Verhaeghe and Maxim Amin on Monday in practice. Also, Duclair's traveling with the team, so could he be back in the lineup? And Gustav Forsling, their defenseman, will be back in the lineup. So when these things happen, the market moved very quickly towards Florida. And I don't want Florida in this spot. I also, we've been watching this Florida offense look so strong, and I'm a huge Reinhart fan. And I'm not sold that they're as good of a hockey team as their 17-4-3 record indicates. They've played 24 games this year, only 9 on the road. So my thought is that we should fade them every road game moving forward. Because we're going to get enormous amounts of value doing that. And this is the exact situation. Now, I don't like that the Blues are hurting, but, you could say that if you got Krug and Parayko in the lineup and you got O'Reilly in the lineup, then you should be okay. So I'm on the Blues at plus 130 here. And I like, they outshot St. Louis 51-25 in that last game without Barkov. So now they have their best player coming back. We like to fade the team when their best player comes back. I think now after looking at it and hearing your initial thoughts that probably Blues first period is the better bet. And I'm not going to double up here. But I do think that you probably nailed it with that thought process. But this St. Louis power play at 30.3%. And again, look at this Panthers team. They're 3-3-3 on the road. They've won 3 out of 9 games on the road, and they're going to be the favorite in every road game they play. Sammy Comer saying the public heavy on Florida. I like that we haven't even looked at where the cash is in NHL because I don't really find it that important. I find it the least important, but I guess any capper finds it the least important in what they deem that they're best at. But let's just see how public the Florida is right here. We have not really 56% of the tickets, 57% of the cash. That's less than I thought. Yeah, I love the fact that they just beat the Blues. I think you're right. I think I should have. Now looking back, I should have bet first period.
Well, yeah. I mean, Florida's been. I don't know if it's just a matter of variance or a small sample size, but they have been a relatively slow starter in recent games and then come back. Nate Dogg 420 says first period over 1.5. I mean, I can understand that. Diehard MMA podcast. No lead is safe from the Panthers. Yeah, and that's how they've been playing.
The Blues were just embarrassed. Now, it wasn't on the scoreboard.
Right.
They lost in a shootout. But when you're outshot 51-25, your coach is going to lay into you.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you watched that game, but I watched it beginning to end. And Florida, it just seemed like they controlled the puck the entire time.
They're playing at a very high level.
Right.
At home. That's not happening on the road here. So, Mally Miles says, has Husso been good lately? He's been really good lately. I don't know how good he is. Gokster vouches for him. 3-2-1, 2.33 goals against average, 929 save percentage. Jeffrey Blue in the house. Great to see you, Jeffrey. And North Ender says, I don't care a bit about what the market says in the NHL. I'm huge on market moves in all other sports. I agree with that.
And also, there is market misdirection in the NHL. That does, I don't know for a fact if it's this year, but in recent previous years, it is definitely something that happens. So just keep that in mind. Doesn't mean that every market move that's early is that, but it does happen.
And, Turnsy's saying, I don't think there's a person in the world that fades the Panthers more than you, Jimmy. And Slatsy's saying, agreed, Turnsy, that is a way to lose money. Look, they've won 3 of 9 games on the road. And they're gonna be a favorite in every road game.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll make this an official play. Also, I didn't watch the last game beginning to end, Jimmy the Bag. I just read someone who did, and they wrote about it, and that's what they said. But, yes, your point is correct, that Florida way outplayed St. Louis in the last game statistically. I'll take St. Louis to score a goal in the first period. First period, team total over a half goal, minus 154 is what I'm seeing right now at Pinnacle. But I will take that one. St. Louis goal in the first period, yes, minus 154. I've been cashing with these recently with Dallas, and I think that the same factors are in play here. So I'll take St. Louis, first period goal, yes, minus 154.
Turdy says, I haven't been around as much, but can you tell me why you fade Florida more than you back them? Well, because everybody is in love with them right now. So whenever there's a team that everybody's in love with, I'd like to find reasons to fade them. 2, I think Barkov is for sure a top 10 forward in the NHL. I think he might be a top 5 forward in the NHL. And so I wanted to see how they would handle them, without Barkov. And they haven't been that consistent. We watched the Kraken go in there and beat them really easily. So, look, they're a really good hockey team. But I don't know if we know who they really are. They lose their coach, their Hall of Fame winning coach at the beginning of the year. They've handled everything much better than I expected them to handle stuff. And I've been wrong. You guys have been right. But at this point on the road, I will fade them at almost every opportunity because of how loved they are by everyone.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go that far, but just in case, they win the first period 2-1. But I will take St. Louis to score a goal first period, yes, minus 154.
All right, let's roll.
All right, you want to move on, Jim?
Yes.
You got that official pick down?
Yes, you have the first period over a half goal at minus 154.
Yes. All right, next game, Carolina-Winnipeg, and this is going to be a Jimmy the Bag special here because this is a game that I look at, and I'm just like, I'm not nearly enough of an NHL expert to make an educated guess on this one, but guess who is? Jimmy the Bag. Winnipeg, of course, off of 2 big high-scoring wins. Before that, they were getting kind of slaughtered, and I know I had them in a few games and got burned by that. So I had a few losses trying to time Winnipeg's resurgence, and it went on longer than I expected. Carolina, an awesome team. We all had them circled as an awesome team at the beginning of the year. I was betting them to start the season and did very well with them. Now they've lost 5 out of 6. In their last game, they beat Buffalo. I don't know how much we put into that. And so the big question here is what's up with Carolina? Do they suddenly suck? And what's up with Winnipeg? Are they back now? Jimmy the Bag, what do you think?
Well, Carolina's a really good hockey team, missing 2 of their top 4 defensemen. It was 3 of their top 6, so we faded them and made tons of money doing it. It's very simple. Nothing to it. Now they still have Pesci and D'Angelo out, and they're not that good of a hockey team without them. They're still a very good hockey team overall. But you do that, you take 2 of your top 4 defensemen out of any team, you're not going to be that good. You should fade that team, especially if your record is as good as Carolina's was before this happened. Snapped their 3-game losing streak in the 6-2 win at home over Buffalo on Saturday night. Their power play is suffering, not their penalty killing, still strong at 87.4%. So there's 2 things happening here. I'm never going to bet a team. Never once in my entire life will I bet a team missing 2 of their top 4 defensemen. So that puts a line right through the Hurricanes. And then I can't bet a team who's coming off such an emotional victory over the Leafs and losing Pionk, who's become such an enormously important part of this defense. When they made the moves they did before last year started, I was like, God, they must think Morrissey's the best defenseman in the league to put all this pressure on. But it was Pionk was so good. They knew that Pionk was so good. And that's why they made the decisions that they did. So now they lose Pionk, and he's suspended for 2 games for the knee on Sandin. So now, look, I don't want any of these teams. I think one of the things where we want to attack Winnipeg is with overs. We want to back them at home, and we want to bet overs with them because their penalty killing is 67.7%. So you know that the other team's going to be able to score, and then you can trust Winnipeg to also score. With all this being said, I don't want either hockey team here. I can't put my money behind either team missing these key defensemen. Yeah. And missing these key defensemen, I don't think means that they'll be worse defensively. This is just an all way around, I want nothing to do with this hockey game.
Right, and that's why the line opened at about even for both sides, and it hasn't moved at all. And I'm sure when Jimmy looks at the money, he's going to be like, okay, no money has been bet on this game yet. All right, so there's nothing to say there. You think anyone's bet this game? I mean, yeah, it's 106 on both sides, hasn't really moved. But, someone's going to, I guess it could be just a literal coin flip.
Yeah, no movement here. We can take a look at the cash in this spot. We have 72% of the tickets on Carolina, 77% of the cash. Only 1,550 tickets in. And I guess the thought being that Carolina's now gotten used to having Pesce and D'Angelo out of the lineup, while the Jets aren't used to not playing without Pionk. I get that angle. In all honesty, I guess that angle makes sense to me. I guess because of that and because of the Jets coming off such an emotional game, I guess I would lean very slightly towards Carolina. But I don't want to bet them.
Mal capping the cappers says, Jim, it sounds like we take the Jets with your breakdown.
But until I would get that as well after I talked about the Hurricanes, but Pionk has become such an enormously important part of this defense. So, and we don't know what because I do think there's truth to the idea that you will get more comfortable playing without your, 2 of your top 4 defensemen after that's happened for 5 or 6 games. So Winnipeg with a 67.7% penalty killing, they're a very hard team to trust. And you would only trust them at home because of it. And then how bad they've looked on the road sometimes is astonishing. When they lose 7-1 to the Stars, when it looks like they just give up on spots, and when Connor coasts across the blue line in overtime, or in overtime on an empty net goal, and he's offside, and they call back the goal because he's just not paying attention. It's a very frustrating team to back, these Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, well, I'm actually pretty good at capping the guys who cap the cappers. And my handicap of Mal's handicap of your handicapping says that the Jets are probably the way to go. I might make that official just for the hell of it, but not yet, but maybe at the end of the show. But Mal thinks that thinks that your analysis implies the Jets might be a good bet, and I think that Mal's analysis of your analysis is probably spot on. That's my take on this game, Jim.
All right, let's move on to Rangers Blackhawks.
All right, next game, Rangers Blackhawks. Rangers really rolling, won 10 of 11, but they've been close games, but maybe that's also just kind of how they play. So you expect a lot of close wins with the Rangers, but very impressive and winning. And Chicago, of course, since they fired their coach, has had a resurgence. They're not winning game in, game out, but they're playing a lot better than they were and kind of alternating wins and losses. I was looking at this. I guess it's probably going to be a pass for me, except I'd be leaning under. What do you think, Jim?
I found this difficult. The Rangers are a better hockey team than the Blackhawks. So now these teams just met in the 3-2 win at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night. And when these teams play these home and homes, I don't want the team that won the first round of it personally, unless I really feel there's an angle in. Eddie Oler says Georgiev isn't Shesterkin. He's not, but I believed in him a lot when he came into the NHL. And I've been very disappointed with his performances. Now, with Shesty injured, it could be a spot where he gets stronger and stronger. And when that took me off of betting Chicago, but Birdie's on Chicago. Says Blackhawks for me here. Come for me. Fleury save percentage quietly back up at 918. Blackhawks roll here in New York to get blown out in this one.
Wow.
So
There has
Rangers
been a
play at home.
to the Rangers, though.
Sorry, say what, Pete?
There's been a pretty significant move to the Rangers, at least since last night.
Yeah, let's take a look at where the cash lies in this spot. I'd be interested here. 22%. Oh, is it Lankinen? Is Lankinen being confirmed? I thought it was Marc-Andre Fleury, but this site says Lankinen. I don't know if
Oh, yes. Well, likely. Not confirmed, but likely. So that probably means confirmed. Wow.
Is Lankinen?
Okay. What?
Lankinen is likely? That's the market move.
Okay.
Because Fleury's not going to be in there, and I'm sure that's made Birdie very uncomfortable. 22% of the tickets are on Chicago, though, and 62% of the cash. So big bets made on Chicago. I wonder if that's surprising. I did not expect Lankinen to be in net. So
well, maybe because he was in net for the first game, so they're like, he'll get revenge. He'll want to, redeem himself.
Yeah, I found I don't want to fade the New York Rangers.
Right.
I don't want to fade them under really any circumstances. But when they're on the road, they're probably at their most vulnerable. I mean, what if they're 8-1-1 at home? 8-3-2 on the road? This is just a hell of a hockey team. Dennis Garcia has action on them to win the division at 5-1. That's a beauty bet. They're a really good hockey. Now they do play Colorado tomorrow night, right? I believe the Rangers. Oh, at home. I believe they actually go back to New York and play Colorado at home tomorrow night. And who will be in goal for that one? I'd love to hear that because what do they say about Chesley? They don't know when he's going to be back on the ice yet. So he's going to test his lower body injury on Thursday. So, so who's going to be in net for the Rangers tomorrow night is a very important part of this equation. And Henry Dice says, if the Boston Bruins didn't have enough challenges right now, there's a non-COVID illness ripping through their team right now that forced the team to change their travel plans to Western Canada. Wow. Abel Alvarez is on the Islanders' first period. Fanatical Jim Kincaid will be in net. I'm off this game. Off this game comfortably.
All right. So I have an echo. Someone made a comment again. The echo is, you hearing a big echo with me again, Jim?
No, you're fine, buddy.
All right. Okay. So you want to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Next game on the docket, Minnesota at Edmonton. Once again, with Jimmy the Bag special here. Edmonton, awesome. Obviously, some highlight reel players on their team, but now they've lost 2 straight, including an embarrassing loss in their last home game. And is that just a little glitch or a bump in the road, or will Edmonton, bounce back, or are they maybe losing it? Minnesota, even if Edmonton is about to bounce back, or should be expected to bounce back, is a tough team to bounce back against. How strong is Minnesota? I'm not sure. I was thinking maybe Edmonton first period, but are we expecting a significant regression from Edmonton in the upcoming weeks?
This is similar to St. Louis's injury issues with the Oilers. They're not really important players, but you have so many of them hurt. Like losing Ceci and Duncan Keith is not the end of the world, but it's the injuries are piling up. Darnell Nurse, Mario White, what's up, my man? Darnell Nurse, it's uncanny how when the team's extremely important player comes back, the team loses that first game. Like it's uncanny how that happens, and I hope it happens with the Panthers and Barkov tonight. But they get Darnell Nurse back, and they lose 5-1 at home to the Kings on Sunday. It was eye-opening. The Wild coming up their 6th straight win, 4-3 in a shootout at home over the Leafs on Saturday night. I came close to betting the Wild, and I decided just to stay off that game and kind of try to re-energize for the week ahead. But the Wild are the best 5-on-5 team in the NHL. And if they don't get a center for their power play, they won't be the best team in the NHL. And their power play at 13.9%. So they're playing against a team that's power plays at 34.3%. That's getting so many more power play goals than they are, and it's going to hurt them. Yeah, no suspension for McDavid. Slatton says Oilers just can't get these goalies right. How can you expect to compete for a cup with these bums in net? So I'm in love with the Minnesota Wild. In love with them. And the way Kaprizov is playing right now. I love Joel Eriksson Ek as a centerman, even though he's not talented enough to play on that first line with Kaprizov. They've moved him on that third line with Greenway. That's just such a tough team line to play against. And Foligno. I mean, that might be the best checking line in the NHL. Eriksson Ek, Foligno, and Greenway. And then you move Hartman up on the Kaprizov-Zuccarello line. And Hartman is in the most incredible situation between these two guys. But I came close to betting the Oilers here. It feels like an Oilers bounce back spot. It feels like Darnell Nurse got the game in front of him, and I would like to bet the Oilers. But who wants to fade the Wild?
Yeah, tough team. Unless you think maybe, they're off a run of dominating wins at home, including a great win over Toronto, a tough team. They beat Tampa Bay, they beat Winnipeg. So maybe they come in here and it's a little bit of a letdown, of a slow spot for them.
I don't think when you play McDavid and the Oilers, who are 16-7, that it's a setup for a letdown spot, personally. And they haven't played since Saturday night. You're going to have a very angry Oilers squad here. It's probably – I'm just so afraid of fading the Wild. They're such a good hockey team that I'm not going to fade them, I guess. But the more we talk about it, the more I think the Oilers will bounce back. The more I think the Oilers are probably the spot at home.
If they do bounce back, it's probably offensively. Cindy Plays Horses says major play over here, big time.
If the Oilers' defense is as vulnerable as they looked on Sunday, then an over will be in play, but it won't be because of Minnesota's special teams. Puzzler says a bunch of guys scheduled to come back for the Oilers. If you get in a gunfight with the Oilers, you're going to lose. You can't play like that against the Oilers. The McDavid and Draisaitl are just too dangerous. So I don't want to get in the way of the Wild. I think the Oilers are probably the spot. Sammy Comer, good question. Those centermen, the Craig Janneys of the world, the Adam Oateses of the world, they used to be pretty prevalent in the NHL, and they're not as much anymore. But I'll look through the rosters and try to come up with someone. But this is too difficult.
Okay. All right. It'll be a pass for me. I was thinking about maybe Minnesota first period goal at like -170, but I'll hold off for now. Maybe at the end of the show, or the segment, I'll add a few official plays. I want to give a quick shout out once again, also to, I'm not sure if he's still listening, but Rayhan Hyder said hello. You remember him, Jimmy?
Of course. Rayhan. I got to hang out with him in Costa Rica too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I met him as well. Shout out to Rayhan Hyder if you're still listening. And if you're not, have a great day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. All right, let's move on. Jimmy the Bag. Next game, Calgary, San Jose. If I'm reading this game well, I think I got some nice plays here. Calgary, of course, lost at Vegas last game, but they're playing very well, right? They had won 7 of 8. They got a coach who I just like to coach in general. San Jose back off a 5-game trip. A nice team, right? Some upside to them. They won the first 3, lost the last 2. A young team, but I'm thinking Calgary starts out strong. I was thinking, Calgary first period, Calgary goal in the first period, and maybe Calgary team total over at 2.5 -140, which I did bet. I'm not sure if that's still around, but that's what I'm thinking. Calgary team total over, and Calgary starting out strong first period and first period goal. What do you think, Jim?
I don't think we're ever going to get value, honestly, fading the Sharks at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going to be the underdog, and they're better than we expected them to be. Calgary has a 25% power play, but San Jose is 87.3 penalty killing, so you kind of can trump that. But this is an angry Flames squad. 3-game winning streak snapped, and that 3-2 loss of Vegas on Sunday night. They're so good on the road. They're not that good at home. I plan on not betting a road favorite in San Jose all year.
Right.
I think that you will lose in the long run doing that. So I'm going to stay away from the Flames. And then do I want to me, it would be Sharks or no bet. And I've not succeeded, Now, Birdie says historical trends matter. And the Flames didn't win, for 30 games at the Shark Tank? 30 games. It took them they went 0-30, something ridiculous. They just couldn't win in the Shark Tank. Now, Birdie says historical trends matter, and I'm someone who just kind of I don't unless they're that wild where Calgary just loses in San Jose over and over and over and over again. I kind of don't care that much about it. Taints Toledo -4.5, and we'll go over that here shortly. But I'm just never going to fade. It's always going to be San Jose or no bet at home, I think, this year. And so if that's the case, then I'm off here. And then you want to look at a total. And, if you're looking at my action saying there's not a lot of totals last little while, and that's because I was looking at my ROI, and I'm much stronger with sides so far this year. And so I've got to go stick to what's making me money. And so I'm just sticking with sides.
Yeah, my record on totals this year, let's not talk. I'm not going to quote an actual number, but it's bad. It's bad. This game, though, I think I'm going to bet that Calgary starts out pretty strong. I did bet the team total over on them, 2.5 -140 at Pinnacle on the overnight. Now it's 154. But I'll take Calgary first period, though. I'll take them, let's see, what's the line here at Pinnacle right now? Money line, first period, 125. I'm seeing -125. I'll definitely make that one official. And I'm thinking about maybe Calgary first period to score a goal as well. But definitely first period money line, -125. I'm going to take that one, Jim.
Oh, and by the way, earlier, Matty Ice got you a better line for that first period goal for the Blues, got you a -145. Matty Ice found that at BetMGM.
Oh, hell yeah, huge. Oh, Matty Ice, hell yeah. That's why that's a good example of why it's important to line shop in sports betting, and also why it's important just to be a good friend in life. Huge shout out to Matty Ice, hell yeah.
Yeah, great guy. I'm getting out of my anger over the last little while. I apologize. I came in so moody, just being sick and angry. But the Real Deal Prime, who's been so supportive and great guy to cap with, from Newfoundland, celebrating his birthday, and Tim Montana BX celebrating their birthdays today. Let's review NHL before we have Wham Bam join us for NHL. You have Leafs -1 to -1.
One official on that one, right? First period money line, -125.
That's official and locked in. You have Leafs -1 at -169 with 2 question marks beside it.
Yeah, that's not official.
You're cutting it?
Yes.
Okay, that is a cut. I'm on the Jackets first period at +175. I'm on the Lightning -1.5 at +115. Jose doubled up on the Islanders -150 and on the puck line -1.5 at +170. Oh, Real Deal Prime says live here, not from Newfoundland. Why did I think you were from the Rock, Real Deal Prime? Why did I think you were from the Rock? Who am I messing that up? Sorry, I thought you were from the Rock, man. Preds team total over 2.5 -139 for Pete. Noli says Jimmy's still mad about the Niners game. You know what? I was actually at that point. I knew I was going to lose the under when it was 7-7, like right away. But I was at Woodbine in a blizzard, winning at horses. Hammered, having the time of my life. Ducks, Sabers over 6 at -115 is me. I'm on the Blues at +130. Pete's on the Blues first period team total over 0.5 at -145. And I'd already won on the day. Like I couldn't lose in NFL. I was winning at horses. I was just hammered, and I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. Hurricanes, Jets, no action for us. Rangers, Blackhawks, no action for us. Wild Oilers, no action for us. And the Flames -125 for Pete. First period -125. First period -125. All right. There you have it. Let's move into NBA, my friend.
All right, let's go.
Please welcome to the show, Pride of Long Beach, California, by way of Compton, California. Please welcome Wham Bam to the show. Wham, what's happening, my man?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling great. Feeling good as I can. You know what I mean? Feeling great, bro. I'm happy to be here with you guys, bro. You already know how it feels, bro.
Well, we love you very much, and we have a small card for us to attack. And very exciting games. All 3 of them are really fun to talk about. So let's get started right now. Let me just move.
Very intimate card, I would say. Very intimate. Very intimate.
Oh shit, son! All right. Okay, let's move over. So, damn, this is happening again. All right,
Pete,
let's.
What's up?
What's up? How you doing, Trot Wam? I think I got a couple of plays on this NBA card tonight. I'm kind of excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I heard you say you seeing clear. I'm hoping I'm seeing the same way, brother. I hope I'm seeing the same way.
I think we're.
I might also have a play in the NBA today.
I think we all know what we're talking
Oh,
about. Here. We know the play we're all talking about. I think.
Pete, you've been strong so far this year. 10 wins and 8 losses, picking your spots, 55.6%, plus 1.16 units, ROI plus 6.44%, average line minus 109. I have been impressed. Oh my God, I keep getting internal service errors. I'm not going to give the line here. Pete, if you could give the line of the basketball game when I send it over to you, I'm going to have to switch, get on Firefox or some shit. Okay, here we go. First game on the card for us, Brooklyn Nets at Dallas Mavericks. Nets 16 and 7, 8 and 2 on the road. Mavericks 11 and 11, 6 and 5 at home in Dallas, Texas. Brooklyn paced last 5 games, 9th in the NBA, 99.10 possessions a game, while Dallas is 19th at 96.70 possessions a game. Nets come in up having their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 111-107 loss at home to the Bulls on Saturday night. Durant goes for 28. LaMarcus Aldridge goes for 20. And Harden continued his struggles, 5 of 21 from the floor, 14 points, 14 assists. He's shooting 40.3%. That is his lowest since his rookie season. It was the second time in 4 games he's missed at least 10 shots. Mavs come in off their second straight loss, 97-90 home to the Grizz. So they're banged up. So yesterday they announced, where's the announcement here? I have it here. They announced that, here we go. Tim Hardaway, right knee contusion questionable. Porzingis, left knee contusion probable. And it looks like Luka going to
play too, yeah.
Is that facts? Do we know
That's
that?
What it seemed like. It seemed like both of them were at practice yesterday. So they're both, it's obviously him trending probable. I think Luka's going to do the same as well.
Okay, so there we have it. They're coming off a game where they shot 33.7% without Luka and KP, and still almost came back from a 16-point deficit. Hardaway goes for 29. Brunson continued his strong play with 15. So Luka sat out 3 games, November 17th to 21, with knee and ankle issues, and then comes back and then sits out. So comes back, averages 26.6 points a game for 5 games, and then sits out the 97-90 loss to the Grizzlies. Pete, what are your thoughts here, Brooklyn Mavericks?
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I've been wrong 8 times in these shows, but right, I think 10 times. Brooklyn, obviously, we see this all the time in the NBA, an elite team that is overvalued, so they've been winning but not covering. But sometimes there are spots to take them, and this might be one of those spots, right? They're off of a straight-up loss. Now they're getting a small favorite line at Dallas, who is, banged up. But if these guys are playing, then I think you can assume that they're going to be 100%. But Dallas just hasn't been winning in general. And I'm thinking that, I guess, again, it's a classic situation where there's a suspiciously small road favorite, and that almost always means that the home dog has value. But I'm thinking that Brooklyn, at least first half, has value. What do you think, Trot Wam?
Yeah, I agree with you. At least first half as well. But I think we got to wait now because we're getting a 4. And if Luka gets announced in, the line's probably going to move a little bit in Dallas' direction. So I think we could wait a little bit on this. We don't have to jump the gun on this game here just yet, unless you're talking props. I did take a stab in the prop here, but to talk about the side here, the Mavericks 1-6 against the East this year, 3-8 ATS at the house, and even with Luka and KP in the lineup, they haven't really shown us that they're really that good of a team to beat a team, like you said. They could be possibly in a good spot to win this game outright. Both of these teams are a little bit rested here. They haven't been playing that much often here. As far as Dallas, they lost 4 of the last 5 games, giving up 39% from 3 to opponents and 109 points per game. They have been playing bad defensively, but like you said, though, Jimmy, they did kind of sneak in and almost come through in that Memphis game there. It looked like they were able to figure it out because they were getting their ass whooped mostly the game, stuck into it and kept it going. So that was a good sign for this team, I think, especially with getting guys back. But I did right here that Luka loves TNT. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luka loves to be on TNT, and he loves to play well here. So it's kind of tough to think about this line being at 4 with him being questionable. If it gets down to 2, I think that's really where you want to get this Brooklyn Nets team, especially in the first half, like you're saying, though, Pete, get in and get out of this spot here. I think the Brooklyn is live here. I think the over is a play here as well, if I'm not mistaken. I had some notes here on the over here as well. I think I just lost it on another side. But yes, but as far as the prop that I like, I did take KD to have 30 plus in this game, over 29.5. It's at plus 124, I believe. Give me 1 second. We have plus 128 right now on FanDuel. If we could get better than that, I appreciate y'all, but I do believe that KD will continue to eat against Dorian Smith, who's probably going to be his primary defender tonight. He's averaging 25 points in eight games in his career. I think he's going to do more than that in this game. Like you said, just as much as Luka loves TNT, we for sure know KD does, and he's the only one that's really been consistent, like you mentioned as well. I do think Harden does figure it out today in this game because they're getting a little bit of lackluster. One thing I'm not going to bet in this game, though, is 3-point props. Both of these teams are playing really good defensively as far as allowing opponents 3-point makes. Top 5 for Dallas, top 10, 9th ranked for Brooklyn Nets. And we know Brooklyn Nets are pretty good defensively this year as well. So that's the reason why I do like the Brooklyn Nets in this spot. The 10th in defensive rating over the last 5 games, 9th in pace. But as far as allowing opponents fast break points, they're number 1 at only allowing opponents 14 points. So I don't think they're going to be running at a fast pace anyway. I said the over. I may have misconstrued myself. The way on my notes are looking like right now, it's definitely towards the under here, but I'm not touching the total here. I just like the over in KD, and I like the side with Brooklyn, but I think we could wait until we get the announcement.
We have 27.5 at Bet365 at minus 120.
Minus 120? No. I take the over 29.5.
At plus
yeah.
128?
Yeah, plus, yeah,
Okay.
I'll take the
I'll
plus.
see what FanDuel has here.
Yeah, I
And
believe it's
Earl
128.
Sports Bets also celebrating his birthday today. Earl Sports Bets.
Shout out to
birthday.
Sagittarius out there.
Wow, they're coming out of the woodwork, these people with birthdays,
Come on
aren't
now.
they? Happy birthday to you, Earl Sports.
Hey, I need a birthday pick too, Pete. My birthday
you
on
do?
Thursday.
All right,
My birthday on
okay,
Thursday. I'm gonna get it
okay.
early. Shit. Let me get mine early
birthday
too.
All right.
Let me get mine too. Let me get mine early.
6,657 tickets in. 13% of the tickets are on the Mavericks and 5% of the cash. 95% of the cash at this point is on Brooklyn.
That's crazy. I'm telling you, that's the way. I think we get a better number. Maybe 95% of the people are right. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Maybe that's it. But damn, that's tough. That is tough. You said that most of the cash is on Dallas though?
No, just 13% of the cash.
13%. So maybe the theory doesn't work, but honestly, I believe that it will work though. As far as the lines will move, I think the lines will move once Luka gets announced in, and we should be able to get a better number. So maybe that number where we got at 4 is probably a bad number. It's a TNT game; it could be close, but I think the first half is probably the best look though. Like Pete was saying.
FanDuel has KD's prop at 27.5 at minus 112.
Minus 112. I take it. I take it if we can't get the alternate. But I'll take the 27. So obviously I'm going to hit that, but he's going to have 30 tonight.
So do you want to go for the big score at plus 128 or you
already? That's locked in. That's official. That's official, sir.
Okay, so over 29.5 at plus 128.
Yes, sir.
All right, Pete, are you locking in here?
I don't know. Is Brooklyn going to be motivated to come back off a loss, or are they just like, we know we're elite. We don't really care if we lose 2 in a row?
My theory here is that this is going to be a big game for both teams. You know what I mean? That's why you're bringing guys back in this game, and you got, I think as far as Harden, I think it's even more of a bigger game for him. So, I'm keying in on him as well, but it's just I don't really like the numbers that I have on Harden right now, obviously, because he's been playing bad. But KD is the guy I think that we could get 30 from him, just regardless. As far as what he's been showing us over the last few weeks, he's been able to do that consistently. And his double-double was looking nice as well. I didn't mention that. It's at plus 175 last night. Actually at plus 180 on FanDuel and I believe Bovada as well. But I just think that Brooklyn is the spot here. I think Dallas is just a bad team. They're not really that. They're not like that as far as at the house as well. Like I mentioned, they're 3-8 at the house, 1-6 against the East. I don't think they're going to be able to do this to this team. This team is pretty elite. They're playing around with like the Pelicans and shit like that. They're not really that good.
Sweaty Butcher also on the -4. He says if Luka's in and the line drops, I will double up on it. But if
I feel
Luka's
that.
out, says I like the number I got. So sometimes the public is right. Nets 4-2 against spread, 6-0 straight up off a loss this season, covering the spread by covering an average spread of -4 by 7 points. Ray Charles also on the Nets full game defense says, do we know if Doncic and Porzingis are playing? Do we have is it confirmed that Doncic is probable?
Yeah, Doncic, I'm not sure if ours is probable, but he practiced that yesterday. So I mean, as far as like what trended yesterday for me, when Tobias practiced, he ended up playing the end of the game. That's the trend that I like to look at as far as like when it's injury things. As far as like you can't really know, you have to jump ahead of the line type of thing. I like to look at those guys practicing, being a big game as well for both teams. I think this is a big enough game for Dallas. They'll have them out there.
Let's move on to these.
I'm not really concerned with.
I'll make a Brooklyn first half -0.5 official. -1.5 official. I'm seeing here at MGM, bet MGM -1.5, -110. Jimmy the bag.
-1.5, -110. Yeah, I've switched over to the Action Network for the rest of this. Let's move on to the next game on the card. 3 games only on the card. This is number 2. New York Knicks 11-12, 6-4 on the road. San Antonio Spurs 8-13, 4-6 at home. We're at San Antonio, Texas. New York pace last 5, 26th at 94.6 possessions a game, while the Spurs are 16th at 97.60 possessions a game. Knicks open up at -2.5. It's still there, right across the board. This total opened up at 215.5 and is shot up 219 at FanDuel, 218.5 at other books. When we go over to where the cash lies, 4,438 tickets, 61% of the tickets, 65% of the cash on the spread on the Knicks, and then 70% of the tickets, 60% cash on the over. And the over has been climbing. Knicks coming off their third straight loss, 113.99 at home to the Nuggets on Saturday. Julius Randle led the Knicks with 24-8, Fournier 15, RJ Barrett 13, Burks and Rose 11 each. But their defense continues to struggle. Now 22nd in defensive rating this season after being 4th last year. Spurs on the second half of a back-to-back after having their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 108-104 loss at Phoenix on Monday. A shout out to Dutch Boy Fresh, who gave us the Spurs +5 against Portland, and they won outright. This begins a huge stretch for the Spurs. 5 home games in 8 days. DeJounte Murray coming off 17 and 14. 7th consecutive double-double, longest streak for the Spurs since Duncan had 7. Tim Duncan from January 2009. In January 2009, Forbes 15, McDermott and Poeltl 14 each, Keldon Johnson 13, Derek White 12, and it's the 6th time this year that the Spurs have lost by 5 points or fewer. Pete, you looking at anything here?
I saw this on the overnight line. I did take a shot with the under at 212.5. Now it's down to 211. I'm just thinking under. You know, the Knicks really need to D up, and I think they'll try to do it here. And I'm not sure if the Spurs are going to be able to push them offensively. So my thought on this game was under.
Wham Bam, take it away.
Yeah, so this game is very interesting as well because one team is kind of declining as far as what you expect them. Like Loshak said, you expect defense, but they haven't been showing it. Last 5 games, ranked 25th in defensive rating, allowing opponents to just get off on them. This team in the other side, Spurs, been covering games like you mentioned. Shout out to my guy Dutch. We all been on the Spurs here in this spot. It's probably just screaming here. I think we're going to get a sighting of Jose here as well because this is only right, honestly. As far as the 2.5, it was open up at 2.5. It didn't move at all. What's the money on this though, Jimmy? Before I lock this one in, because I'm thinking of taking the first quarter in the Spurs here over the last 10 games. They covered this 6 times, or as far as at the house, 8 of the last 10 at the house. Yes, that is correct. And you're looking at what the Knicks has been doing as well over the last 10 games. 2-8, just like that. Exactly what I have written down here. I feel like this is a very interesting look for the Spurs. Obviously, they are probably not the well-rested team in this spot, so they probably have the advantage there for the Knicks there with the rest. But as far as what you mentioned, this team in the Knicks, they haven't really been playing that well. I just don't think that they have guys that's stepping up. Like, you need to step up, RJ Barrett, but you're not. You're not stepping up, bro. Like, he's not out there doing what he showed earlier in this game. He was the third option, and that was kind of working for him. But now it seems like they need him to do a little bit more than just the third option now, and he can't get out of that element there. So I think that the Knicks probably are going to continue to struggle in the future, honestly. Against this team and the Spurs, I think they're going to be showing that they're pretty solid to be backing as well. So we already cashed with the Spurs. I'm thinking of going early with the Spurs. First quarter is probably the best bet here for me in this game. So that's the only way I was thinking. But I do want to hear the money before we make this official, though. What is the money on this? If you said it already, my apologies, bro.
It's all good. It changed a little bit since I said it. 67% of the tickets on the Knicks, 68% of the cash.
Okay. See, but the Knicks are public darling, so you shouldn't really fucking worry about the money at all because it's not going to show us what exactly going on. I think the Spurs is the play, though, for sure. Early, especially.
Do you want to make that official?
Yes, we can make that official. First quarter.
All right,
That's how I already locked it in.
Trot Wam. So you don't think that the Knicks are going to be able to D up in the way that they want in general as a team?
So this team and the Spurs, what they're going to do is run a lot of action as far as pick and rolls, of course, doing things of that nature. And they have DeJounte Murray, who's on a tear, you know what I mean, as far as his points, rebounds, and assists. If you're looking to a guy as far as fantasy, I know our guy Billy Bennett, he'll back this as well. DeJounte Murray has been the guy over these last few weeks. I think that's the problem, though. And as far as the matchups wise, was Derek White. They're guys on the wing and the perimeter. They're going to be a little bit better than Alec Burks. Don't get me wrong. Alec Burks has definitely played up to his potential, played up for his contract, probably even. But I'm not going to be thinking that this is going to be consistent there. I would say I do expect Julius Randle to have a good day here in this game for sure. He definitely has the advantage in this game, but I don't think that beyond that, it's kind of like who else is going to be able to do it for you. You're not going to rely on Evan Fournier every night. He's not going to be able to do it for you, especially when the team is going to be game planning, knowing that that's the best output for your team. I think Doc knows that he got to stop these shooters, and if you stop the shooters, then they stuck.
I can get you the Spurs at circa at plus 102 on the first quarter money line, or plus a half at minus 110.
Let's do the money line.
All right, locked in. Spurs first quarter at plus 102 for Wham. Anything for you, Pete?
I'm going to take a shot with the first quarter under 54 minus 112. I'm seeing a pinnacle. There's probably 110s around, but I'll take. I'm not going to have time to line shop. I'll take first quarter under 54. The Spurs have been, I think I also saw in the beginning of the show that was a play recommended by Dan Kelly. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the case.
Did he?
I think so. I think he said first quarter under. And Nicholas Lee says Loshak don't like that bet. Yeah, I mean, I know that the Knicks want to be better defensively, right? Now, can they do it for the next 10 games? I don't know, but can they do it for the first quarter in this game? Probably. And the Spurs might be, it might be a little bit of a slowish start for them here as well. So I'll take that. I can understand why. And then Billy Friedrich says the second quarter over is a solid one this play too. I can certainly see that.
I actually do like that first quarter under with Pete as well. That makes a lot of sense. 3 of the last 7 games for the Spurs have went under in the first quarter. Average line is 51, and the 54 is the average line for the Knicks and on the road. On the road.
And it's just like, I know that the Knicks have been talking about how they need to D up a little bit. You know what I mean? Ever since they made the switch from Walker, the first game was great,
true.
but then since then they've gotten scorched. So they know that they can't really. That's not what they. That wasn't the whole point of replacing Walker with Burks, right?
Right. Yeah, and they're still banged up too. I think they got some guys out as well. I think the only guy that's injured though right now is Jericho Sims. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But they've been pretty banged up too.
All right, we have.
Sorry, Nasty Nate says Pete the GOAT. Don't question him ever. No, on NBA, always question me.
No, never.
In all
Don't ever question the GOAT. Don't ever question the GOAT.
I got you a minus 107 on that under 54, Pete.
Oh,
That's
really?
circa.
Nice. Thanks, Jim.
And then first quarter at plus 102 for a Wham Bam. All right, last game of NBA before we jump into NCAA basketball. Boston Celtics 13-11, 7-7 on the road at LA Lakers, 12-12, 8-7 at home. We're in Los Angeles, California. Boston pace last 5 games 19th at 96.70 possessions a game, while the Lakers 15th at 97.75. Celtics coming off their third win in 4 games, 145-117 at Portland. Let's see what we have. Sorry, let's get FanDuel off here. Let's see what Action is giving us for an opening line here. Opened with the Lakers at 2.5, still sitting at 2.5. From a total perspective, We have them opening up at 218.5. It's shot up to 220 or 220 and a half. Nasty Nate says Celtics. Tatum went for 31 and 10. They got a season high in points against Portland. They shot 56.8% from 3, 21 of 37. Third win in 4 games, 6th win in 9 games. Jaylen Brown was out for a second straight game. Still dealing with that right hamstring strain. Horford, lower back tightness. Langford, right ankle sprain, were also out. Schroeder went for 31 and 8 assists. And now he gets to play these Lakers. Lakers had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in 119-115 loss at home to the Clippers on Friday. They're as fresh as we've seen them here. Pete, is there anything that – let me just go to the cash flow quickly here. 4,715 tickets in. It's a coin flip. 46% of the tickets on Lakers, 50% of the cash, and 60% of the tickets, 53% of cash on the over. Pistol Pete, anything you're looking at?
No, I mean, this one has me confounded, but I'll be interested to hear what other people have to say. Obviously, anytime a team is off a huge win where they score that many points in the game, especially in basketball, it makes the next game very dicey. And the Lakers are off the loss of the Clippers. And in general, I have the words of Dan Kelly and many other people saying that the Lakers are just an overvalued team in general this year. So probably the way is to just look to bet, to find some way to bet against the Lakers in this spot. And Billy Friedrich has identified the second quarter as a good way to fade the Lakers. Here's a quote from Billy Friedrich. My best NBA play today is Boston's second quarter plus a half. Lakers are 0-10 last 10 games at home, second quarter ATS. Boston 6-4 second quarter ATS on the road last 10. And that makes a lot of sense to me. It just makes me a little nervous that Boston had such a huge scoring game last time out, and that, the Lakers, one would think, after the loss to the Clippers, would be a little bit salty, but maybe not. That's my take on it. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to have a play here. What do you think, Trot?
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think you got to figure out a way somehow to bet against the Lakers. Like someone said in the chat, they're 0-7 over the last 7 games. I mean, LeBron, fuck, man, he sucks, bro. Like, let's just be honest, man. Like, he's not the same guy no more. Like, he's just, it's over. It's fucking over, bro. And you got to be on my team. Yeah, talk that shit, Jose. I know it's fucking terrible for me to feel this way, but yeah, he sucks, man. It's 23 shots to get 23 points, man. That's not what a LeBron I'm used to seeing here. He usually goes attacking the rim, going by people, can't have the same first step. Obviously, he's old of age, injuries, yada, yada. We got excuses now. So we're going to keep running with him, though. You know what I mean? So is the NBA going to give him some help here? Freaking, it doesn't seem like they are, you know what I'm saying? Especially in this matchup. What are the I'm sorry, I just had it up right here. It looks like Boston's owned us in this matchup as well. They covered 6 straight times in this matchup. They obviously
Wham, I
already.
Want my steak, Wham. I want my steak, Wham.
What steak?
I want my steak. You're a Lakers fan, Trot. I know you.
Come on, bro. I'm not backing the Lakers, bro. You ain't about to back me in the corner. I already got backed in the corner going against Bill Belichick yesterday. I ain't doing
the old ass James is. You just can't do it, Wham. What's going on?
Come on, bro. Look, this is my play. This is my play for today. My play for here in this game, I took the over 217.5. Both these teams can't fucking defend here. Ranked 15th in opposing points for Boston. Second to last, the Lakers are 113 points they're giving up. Why would I back that? Why would I back the Lakers? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I back LeBron James to go apply Jason Tatum? No, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Marcus Smart, you can't get past Marcus Smart. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to make this shit up. So I do like the Boston side. Am I going to bet it? No, I took the over here. So I think you're getting 219 right now. I'll go over that as well as far as official play. But that's the only way I'm going here. I do like 80 points as well, though. I won't lie. I do like the over 24.5. I think he gets 25 in this game here. But he has to hold it up, man. I mean, he's going against OG Al Horford. Is he scared of Al Horford? I don't know. He should be able to fucking take care of this, but I don't know. But again, Jose, sorry, bro. I can't do it, bro.
That's fine, Wham. Let me give you another option. I'm taking the under in this game. That's my play. I'll take the under right now. No problem. I'm going to refresh our friends at
So we're going to steak
here.
dinner roll, right, Jimmy? So me, you, Ski, Dutch, we're all going to steak dinners. Do you have Pete too?
Let me just go over a couple of things here before we jump into college basketball. And Rob, it's our pleasure, man. I'm so happy that he enjoyed that. It's absolutely our pleasure. Love seeing father and son's cap together. First off, there's no even 219s on the board that I see.
Oh,
I only
wow.
see 220s and 219 and a halves.
Ooh, this shit
So if
steamed up. God damn.
If that makes you
Yeah, I'll
want to
take the
not
220. You know what?
move on.
No, it's totally fine, Jose. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. I've been backed in the corner 2 days in a row. I'm not gonna hold out. I'm gonna let my balls hang, and I'm gonna say we're going over 220. Again, I bet it at 217. I'm gonna drop a half a unit on a 220 again. I'm dropping a half a unit on it. I'm giving you guys a heads up. You know what I'm saying? Letting you guys know. I definitely didn't get the line movie. I thought it was at 219 earlier today. But yeah, I'll go ahead with you. I'll go ahead with you, Jose.
So you guys are going to use 220 for your bet, but do you want to make 219 and a half official here, Wham?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
So I have a different feeling on this game. I think that no team needs rest more than the Lakers. And I want to fade the Celtics after they went 21 for 37 from 3 in Portland. Because now they come to the bright lights of Staples, and they're not going to shoot over 50%.
Crypto.
So I am going to move.
Now.
I am going to move on the Lakers minus 2.5 in this spot. I think this is the perfect spot. When I hear everybody shitting on LeBron and shitting on the Lakers, then I know it's the perfect time to back them. Then I know I'm getting value on this basketball team that's not trash. So this is the only official play I know that I'm making at this point. I'm going to go over our action, but I'm going to take the Lakers minus 2.5.
What helps you out, Jim? What helps you out too, and something that scares me, and why I'm not taking the Celtics, I'm just taking the under, is Scott Foster's the referee for this game. I mean,
of course he is.
I mean, come on,
he is, bro.
Come on, LeBron and AD is going to get all those calls.
He said it. He said it. It's fucking Lakers.
I like TrotWAM's AD over points because I mean, there's not a soul on the Celtics that can guard AD. Al Horford's the best player. Yeah. Al Horford's probably the best player, and he's almost 40 years old. So I like that. But TrotWAM, you're gonna owe me a steak dinner, and I can't wait.
Come on.
Okay, so we have a steak dinner. But Jose, did you make anything official for your record here?
Yeah, the under. I'll make it official for the under.
Okay, so the under, and you can get 220 for your action here. And so Wham's on the over 219 at minus 110. We're going to give Jose the 220 that's available.
I also have another stake bet out there, by the way, with our good friend Damon Santori, apparently a San Diego State guy, UTSA San Diego State. We'll talk about sometime soon, but just a heads up there too. More
Luka is now probable. Luka is now probable.
Perfect. Well, then Brooklyn might be the ad once it gets down to 2. All right. So I'm making the Lakers minus 2.5, minus 110 official. Pete, is there anything you're making official here?
No, but I'm an inch away from tailing Billy Friedrich and taking Boston on the second half the second quarter at plus a half, minus 115 or minus 110 or whatever's available. I hear you, Jimmy the Bag. That's a cold analysis. You're saying like everyone's talking about how much the Lakers suck. So my play is the Lakers. That's cold, but it's kind of cool.
They've been off since Friday. What team needs rest more than this team right now?
I know.
That's true.
I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying it's cold. I'm just saying it's cold analysis. It might be dead on, Jimmy. But but Billy Friedrich's look on this game for the second quarter, on Boston might also be a decent play because it does feel like, if the Lakers, do come out playing well, maybe there's a little bit of a letdown in the second quarter. I guess I'm going to pass.
Lakers need to make their free throws too, though, Jimmy. They rank 28th in free throw percentage, bro. Fucking disgusting.
All right, let's review action for NBA. Move on to college basketball. Wham is on KD over 29.5 points at plus 128. Going for the big score there. While Pete is on the Nets first half, minus 1.5 and minus 110. And I'm interested in the Nets, but I'm going to take a little bit more time. Then we move on to Knicks Spurs. Wham's on the Spurs first quarter plus 102. Pete's on the first quarter under 54 at minus 107. Then Jose and Wham have the steak dinner bet at 220. Wham's on the over 219.5 at minus 110, while Jose's on the under 220 at minus 109. I'm on the Lakers minus 2.5 at minus 110, and that is our show. That is our action here. Anything else you guys want to add before we move on?
I just want to, I'm sorry, people, to cut you off. I'll let you pass it right to you. I just want to add that somebody asked if he's gonna only go buy one steak for 4 guys. No, he's gonna buy us all medium plus fucking tomahawk steaks, bro. That's what he's gonna do. That's what he's gonna do.
I don't need to order the tomahawk steak, but I'm damn sure gonna get my own fucking steak, man.
Well, don't you worry, because I'm going to be receiving a steak from Trot Wam and then Damon Santori, and those steaks will be promptly handed to Jimmy.
Wagyu, you got Wagyu, bro. You got Wagyu on the way. You hit this, you got Wagyu on the way, bro.
All right, sorry, my son in the background's pissed off that Wham has to leave now. Carter, I'm sorry. God. He'll be back soon. We'll see him in a couple weeks in LA. Wham, thank you so much for rolling with us. Follow our guy at TrotWAM on Twitter, and Wham, get that cash. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. You already know, bro. We be locked in. Big card, man.
There he is, Wham Bam in the house. We go from the National Basketball Association to NCAA basketball with the Cupcake King in the house. Please welcome Maxwell Smart to the show. Max, what's happening, man?
You know, Jim, it's another Tuesday. I'm glad to see you and Pete on screen together. That brings joy to what has been an aggravating morning. I want to choke my bookie. I want to take his girlfriend to the Bahamas. And I want some goddamn bacon that's crisp as fuck with no fat in it. So give me an air fryer that works, not an air fryer that doesn't work.
That all sounds like legitimate grievances.
Amen, brother.
It all sounds like legitimate grievances. Let's get right to work. Max has picked 4 games that he's attacking on this show. And we begin at 7 p.m. Eastern with the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. 7-2, 3-2 on the road at Bowling Green. Falcons 4-4, 2-1 at home. Bowling Green, Ohio for this one. Oakland comes in off their 5th straight win, 78-45 at IUPUI as 14.5-point favorites. They destroyed them. They're playing good ball right now. Bowling Green comes in off their 2nd straight win. Very impressive. They win 78-70 at Duquesne as 4.5-point dogs. Very impressive. Let's move over. I'm here going to try to find a – God damn. All right. Oh, here we go. Also, we're going to be talking about the Taint play of the day here as well. But here we have Oakland opening up as 2-point favorites. That has moved to 1.5 at some books. Some books are still hanging the 2.5. And from a total standpoint, move that over here. We have, from a total standpoint, we have opening up at 149 and dropping. BetMGM is at 147.5. Some books have it at 148.5. FanDuel is at 149.5. All over the board here for this spot between Oakland and Bowling Green. Pete, did you look at this spot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a play on this one. It's obviously, if it were a game that was important to both teams on a neutral court, I would definitely be all over Oakland, but this is it's a non-conference game. It won't matter probably for Oakland in any way for the postseason. They're not going to go undefeated, so I'm not sure how much Oakland is going to come in here and really want to lay the hammer down or whatever, kick ass. But Oakland's much better statistically, so I guess I'd be leaning that way. But I didn't pull the trigger on it.
Well, let's see what Maxwell Smart has to say about this spot. Oakland, Bowling Green. Maxie, take it away.
Yeah, Jim, from watching these programs and watching them over the years, I know that there is some situational awareness when it comes to this matchup. These are 2 teams that last played in 2019, and Bowling Green was able to get the win, I believe, in Oakland's building. So I do think that there will be a little bit of abused dog syndrome with Greg Campy, and Greg Campy will get his guys ready to play tonight. We've already seen that this team has been a juggernaut on the road, beating the Blue Hens quite handily, and then surviving after building up a big lead against UIC in their Horizon League opener. I think that when you look at this game, though, it's all about Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore, while he's not going to impress you with his field goal percentage numbers, and I rag on him not being able to convert these layups, he is getting to the free throw line. He is making his free throws. He is giving you that double-digit assist production. And I think the X factor tonight is going to be Trey Townsend. We've seen him take the next step forward. And with him and Jamal Cain, it's just a lot for this front court of Bowling Green to deal with. I just don't think behind Joe Reese and Daquan Plowden do they have enough depth. But the one thing that is definitely tricky about this game is the fact that we've seen a personnel change within this lineup. A lot of different guards, a lot of different lineups that you can go with that can get you wins if you're Bowling Green. Myron Gordon, I think, is injured now, or I don't know what's going on with him. All I know is that he hasn't played the last 2 games. Bowling Green's won those 2 games by adding Samari Curtis into the starting lineup, by adding Joe Reese into the starting lineup. I think that this is what makes this game difficult, but I do think in the end, better defense is going to beat better offense. We've seen this Bowling Green team struggle at home versus the likes of Norfolk State. So this is a spot where I think the numbers are correct, like Pete does. And I think that this is an Oakland full game spot. I like the first half also, but my luck hasn't been too good with these first half plays. So I'm just going to give them the full 40 minutes to do what they got to do and get the win.
Oakland here, and let me see if I can get you a better line than this 2.5. They're hanging at 2.5. I think FanDuel might have this.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah,
I have a -2 at sportbet.com at -108.
I think that. Let me just see if I can get a 1.5 for you at FanDuel here before we. Yeah, I can. Oh, but it's damn. Yeah, it's -118 for the -1.5. Do you want to stick with your -2?
Yeah, let's stick with the -2, -108.
All right, Oakland -2 at -108. Pete, what does that make you want to pull the trigger on that?
It makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to hold off for now. Yes, on paper, Oakland looks like a great play, though.
Oh, I will add this, Pete. We have seen a nice tinkering, a positive tinkering to this full court press that Greg Campy puts out there. I do think that it has turned the offense over more so this year, and I look for that to be a defining factor if this play is going to cash.
Okay, who the fuck is Greg Campy? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that?
That is the coach of Oakland.
Oh, okay, right, got it. No, I knew that.
Michigan Mel like in the over in this spot. Rem Most asking you, Max, is 2.5 too high?
I don't think it's too high, but we've seen Oakland build leads up and then take their foot off the pedal. And the UIC game is just like ringing in my head, like alarm bell. So be careful with the 2.5. I think that at 2, we are implying that we are going to win the game by 3 or more. So I don't hate the idea. And as far as the total, I agree with the over. I just think that when you look at this point range, it's hard not to like Bowling Green to allow Oakland to have more lanes to the rim and more jump shots. So.
All right, Max is on the board here. We are going to talk about Matty Ice's taint play of the day. We're going to talk about that after we go through Max's looks, and we're going to see if Pete wants to add anything outside of Max's games, and then we're going to talk taint. Next up, 7 p.m. Eastern, UMass Minutemen, 6-3, 0-1 on the road at Northeastern Huskies, 5-4, 3-0 at home. We go to Boston, Massachusetts. UMass has won 3 straight games, all at home. They're coming off beating Harvard by 10 points. That was on the heels of beating Rutgers the week before by just 2. Northeastern coming off 2 straight home wins, 1 to Detroit, and then they beat Colgate by 5 points. We have the opening line at -2. Some books have gone to 2.5, some have gone to 1.5, and others have just stuck at the 2. Then we have this total opening up at 140, and the same thing. We have some books that moved to 140.5, and some are at 139.5. Very important to line shop here. Pete, was there anything that interested you?
Both these teams are teams that I was kind of high on Northeastern to start the year, and I have bet them a few times and done well with it. I don't really love fading UMass. I haven't bet this one yet, but I would definitely be leaning Northeastern here again for the same kinds of reasons. And UMass is a respectable team. Well, excellent. I mean, the blowout win over Penn State was not a mistake. But again, it's a non-conference road game at this time of the year. Northeastern is definitely no slouch, so I would be leaning Northeastern here. Haven't bet it yet. Might make it official. I want to hear what Max has to say. I'm sure he's on Northeastern though.
Let's hear.
Pete capping the capper, and Pete is absolutely right. I am all over Northeastern. I love Northeastern's physicality and length all throughout the lineup. Now you have Tyreek Scott Grayson and Shaquille Walters giving you double-digit points off the bench. They were able to come back from down a huge margin at home versus Colgate to win that game by 5 points. And I think that tonight, the key for Northeastern is you have to just score the basketball. You cannot get hung up on playing this rock slow tempo, and I think that with the rebounding edge that Northeastern's going to have against what we're going to see a lot of 4-out lineups for UMass, is that you got to be able to get those second chance opportunities, win on the offensive glass, and score in transition yourself. This is a problem with this offense because you don't have a true point guard and you have Glenn McClintock handling the ball. I think that my fellow Canadian, Jimmy's fellow Canadian, Jamal Telford, will be the X factor in this game. The French Canadian will stand out, give you 18 to 20 points, give you that good defense and physicality. And I think that Northeastern tries to muck this game up at times, does a good job of it, builds up a margin, and let's go Northeastern. I don't like UMass when they're not at home.
Yeah, I would agree with
Jimmy, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, got a Carter screaming for titty in the background. Do you want to make that as official as well, Pete?
Yes, I will make that official. I'll take it. I'll take Northeastern. A game like this, I usually bet first half and full game, and then make a second half bet depending on how the first half goes, and that is overall a safer way. But I'll just take the full game -2. Whatever you're giving Max, I'll take.
Yeah, I mean, we can give you a 1.5. It's a -118. We can give you a -2 at -110. Circa has moved to 2.5.
I'm seeing -2, -107 at Pinnacle right now.
Oh, perfect. Okay, let's give you guys both that right now. All right. So far, when you guys have been on the same play, you haven't lost.
There you go. And it's got to be a sample size of at least 2, maybe even 3.
Very small sample size.
No, that's all right. That's good enough for me, baby. Good enough for me. Hell yeah. Maxwell Smart, baby.
Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the card here. 8 p.m. Eastern. Charleston Cougars 5-3, 1-2 on the road at Tulane. Green Wave 3-5, 2-1 at home. We head to New Orleans, Louisiana for this one. Let me get this over. Come on, baby. Show me. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Tulane opening up as 4-point favorites. That's moved to 3.5 at most books. This total has dropped 3 points from 152.5 to 149.5, although you can still find a 150. Pete, did you look at Charleston Tulane?
Yeah, of course. We covered this game in the last video. I believe it was the first time they played this year, and I had the Charleston team total over, which cashed. And I don't remember what Maxwell Smart's play on it was, but now they're playing again. My analysis hasn't changed. I would still be leaning, statistically, I'd be liking Charleston even more, getting points and with a lower team total over. But it's just because it's now a road game at this point of the year. Things get a little bit wacky in December in the college basketball. So it's going to be a total pass for me. Too many unknowns.
All right, too many unknowns there. Let's hear what Max has to say about this spot. Cougars, Green Wave.
Yeah, Jim, this is an interesting spot to me because for the reasons that Pete just mentioned, that's why I like this game that much more. You're getting so much value, in my opinion, with Charleston, who is a 2-lineup team that literally can play Meeks and frickin' West together, and then they can play frickin' Ali and Tucker together, and they all give you 3-point shooting. They all give you good free throw shooting. We've seen these two teams go up and down, really putting up a stronger scoring second half than they did first half, because Pete, I had the first half over, which lost, and I had the Charleston first half, which cashed. I think that I want to approach this game the same way. I want to look at Charleston with the points full game. I want to look at them first half, and I want to go at this Tulane team because Tulane looked really good against Alcorn State, and I'm not going to really pat them on the back for that. I have this thing, the game against Southern, ringing in my memory. Now you're bringing in a Charleston team that is very 3-point heavy, but still converts a lot of their free throws. And what is Tulane's major problem? Turnovers. They turn the ball over 19 times. If you're going to do that to Tulane, then you're going to beat Tulane. I love the offense that this Coach Hunter team has, but they don't have a solid fucking dependable front court player. And with Kevin Cross coming off a 16-13 game, I'm not really seeing him being able to replicate that against Demetrius Underwood and company for Charleston. I think that this is a spot that when you look at the total, though, it's very interesting. In the 4 games that these teams have played in this point range of 149.5 or lower, all 4 of them have gone under. And if you took the opener number and you looked at point range stats, you would have been like, okay, they played 6 games in this point range and 5 of them out of the 6 went over. So it's a tough spot with the total. I'm on the over in the game. I think there's going to be points. I think it's going to be close. And we know what happens when there's a close game late. Free throws. Both these teams make them. I think it goes over. I like the first half. I like the full game with Charleston.
All right, let's see what I can get you for first half full game. Here's a 149. That's circa. And first half, they have a 70.5. So let me compare that to what the Action Network has here. So 149 is the lowest, right? That's a good one for the first half. Is that confirmed with you guys?
No, Jim, full game over, first half and full game spread, please.
Oh, okay. But that 149 is the best number, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so max.
And Max, while Jim is writing this down, what's your take on Charleston in general as far as pace and totals are concerned? Are you see them as like a mid-range team that conforms to whoever they're playing, a team that likes to push the pace, or a slow it down team that you want to think about betting unders with high totals with?
For me, because it's a Pat Kelsey coach team and the style that he played at Winthrop, there's going to be obviously a certain threshold for numbers that I'm willing to take over, but I don't expect them to try and slow it down. I just expect them to sometimes have off shooting games.
All right. I think I can find you a 70.5 at minus 110. I believe there's one here at Bet365.
Mal says, I watched Charleston last game. I hate how the refs made it close. He's talking about the Furman game, I think, where they were a big underdog and it went into overtime.
And that's what we're seeing a lot with referees so far this season. We're seeing referees take games into their own hands. And listen, I know that the ref is running down the court with the whistle in his mouth, but if you can't avoid blowing into the whistle when you're breathing, then maybe you should be behind the mic like I am with my nose whistle.
There you go. They should have a whistle blowing test for every ref before they actually allow them to be refs. I hear you, man.
I have not heard that nose whistle, by the way, in a long time, Max. You've been healed.
You haven't heard me on headphones. That's why.
Okay. All right, so I can get you.
That is accurate, by the way. I would like to announce that is very accurate.
I can get you numbers on the first half and the full game that are decent. Now, so you want a full game team total over 72.5 at minus 110 available at Pinnacle. Can we find better than that?
Are you talking to me, Jim?
Yeah.
No, I'm not taking the team total. I'm taking the first half spread, the full game spread, and the full game over.
Oh, shit. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. I thought you wanted the first half over as well. Okay, so I got you the full game over. Okay, thank you. Full game over 149, first half spread, and full game spread. Okay, so I'm going to look to get you the best lines here. It's going to take me a second. So why don't we get into the next, so first half and full game. Why don't we go into the last game here, and then I'll continue to work. We have 8 p.m. Eastern, South Dakota Coyotes, 5-3, 0-3 on the road. At Northern Colorado Bears, 5-5, 3-0 at home. We head to Greeley, Colorado for this. South Dakota looked pretty good being Tennessee State and Presbyterian by big numbers, then lost on the road at Nebraska and San Jose State before, a college game that meant, absolutely nothing. Waldorf College, 93-37, held Waldorf to 13 first half points. Northern Colorado Bears beat Montana State 77-75 in overtime, and 2 days later beat Montana 78-75. Both very close games, but wins for Northern Colorado, who are undefeated at home. Let's go over to the Action Network here and get this number. We have, here we go. That's first half. God, I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. The full game here. Northern Colorado opening up as 10 point. Oh, no, sorry. Jesus. They open up as 7.5 point favorites. That's moved to 8.5 or 9.5, and the first 10 is on the board. This total opened up at 143.5 and has dropped 3 points down to 140 or 140.5. Pete, did you look at this spot?
Yes, I did. I looked at every game with an overnight line. On paper, statistically, I would be liking South Dakota here getting double digits. But the fact that the line has moved the way it has in Northern Colorado's favor makes me want to stay off it. And again, like I've said, these non-conference December games can be very tricky. And a lot of times there's unknown factors, psychological or otherwise, that wind up mattering a lot, that are not necessarily easy to find out unless you're friends with someone on the team. So it's going to be a pass for me. Statistically, I'd be liking South Dakota and the over, but the market has moved in the opposite direction on both of those, so it's going to be a pass.
Max, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, Jim, I think that when you look at this game, this is a team in Northern Colorado that's riding high, beating freaking two teams at home where realistically they should have lost. They should have lost to Montana State. They should have lost to Montana. They were able to pull out the wins. They were able to score the basketball. And Bodie Hume just seems like an adult playing with boys, even though he's pale as white and skinny like a chicken bone. I think that when you look at this Northern Colorado team, they have solid rim protection from Kurt Jokic. And when they're getting this type of double-digit scoring performances from Matt Johnson and Dalen Coots on a regular basis, this is a hard team to go under against. My numbers initially liked the under at 143.5. Now we're gone to the point where I don't really like it anymore. I'm starting to say, well, I don't think that South Dakota is going to lay down and take it. I think that South Dakota is going to be able to get to the rim. I think they are going to be able to run that motion pass heavy offense that this group runs. And I think that we're going to see them compete with Northern Colorado, because what does Northern Colorado do? They look very good in first halves, then they fade and give up leads in the second. So I agree with Pete, double-digit points with South Dakota, please, and I'm taking the over. Fuck the line movement. I'm the line mover.
So Maxwell Smart agreeing with my analysis on this game, despite the fact that the market moved against it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're the market movers, Pete, not anybody else. Let's go.
I guess so. Great minds think alike, but also idiots think alike a lot of the time. Also, mediocre minds think a lot of the time. So Maxwell Smart, maybe we could be like the Dumb and Dumbers of college basketball handicapping.
That is absolutely true, but we can also be the Canadian-American East Coast savant tandem.
Could we?
College basketball.
All right, we'll work it out. We'll try to figure out what we should be.
All right, let's lock. Oh, so by the way, you have a question, though. You have a situation to answer. For Charleston, first half, I think you can get 2.5 at -110 at MGM. Sorry, that just went down to 110. It was at 114 before. So that you would rather have 2.5 at -110 than 2 at -105? Max?
No, I'd rather have -2 at -105.
Oh, okay. +2.
Oh, +2, yeah. I'll still take the +2.
Okay. All right. Then we South Dakota and the over. Let's lock you here in for South Dakota and the over. Let's move off of first half back to full game. Okay, here we go. So, fuck, that 10 is gone. Let me see if I can. But there's down to 139.5.
Yeah, what do you think is causing this line movement, Maxwell Smart? See, when I see this, my thought for this kind of game at this time of the year, there's some issue with someone on South Dakota.
Yeah, South Dakota's missing their star player, AJ Plitzwit, but that's been known for a long time. I think that at the end of the day, this is the team that gets good open looks at the bucket. It's just a matter of them converting it. So I understand where the line's going, but I'm going off what I've seen with my eyes and what my numbers are telling me. And at 139.5, I'm definitely taking the over still.
Is that okay if it's at minus 115?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so over 139.5, that's the lowest number on the board. And then I can't get you a 10 anymore. I can only get you plus 9.5.
It's 10 minus 117 at Pinnacle right now, Jim, if you want that.
Okay, do you want to pay for because I can get you plus 9 at minus 10, plus 9.5, excuse me, at minus 109, or plus 10 at minus 117.
No, I'll take the 10 at minus 117.
All right, over 139.5 and plus 10 at minus 117. All right, so we have two more things.
Give me the bag. I'll go on the South Dakota team total over at 65.5 minus 107. Current line at Pinnacle.
All right, so Pete is on South Dakota.
Actually, minus 105. Current line at Heritage.
Team total over, what was the number?
65.5 minus 105. Current line at Heritage.
All right, you are in. Okay, then we have everything locked in except, Pete, are you going to be adding anything before we talk about Taint? Oh, wow. Anuj Ball just found it at plus 10 at minus 110 at Bovada. Great job. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anuj. Okay, perfect. So then
I can just tell you very quickly what I did take shots with Maxwell Smart. I took a shot with Northridge at plus 10.5. I'm not sure. It's a very low total. Should be a low scoring game, and I'm not sure that Northridge. Go ahead.
That game's up to 13 for Boise right now.
So someone must be out for Northridge then. That must be a big issue. All right, that's a loss. And I did also take a shot with Belmont St. Louis over. I took that one, and I didn't take the first half yet, but I'd probably be liking that one at about 149. That game looks like it should be total looks like it should be higher, and it hasn't moved. So that has me a little bit concerned. But like I took the over in Belmont's last game against Sanford, and that one did move like 5 points. I got the 153 or whatever, and it went up to like 158. And I was expecting a movement here as well. But I took the over 149.5, I think, with Belmont and St. Louis. That was another play that I took. I took Northridge. That's probably going to be a loser. And I took a shot with James Madison plus 5.5 against Virginia. Should be an up year for James Madison, and they definitely want this one. I'm not sure Virginia is a legitimate road favorite that big, especially what they did in their last game. So I took a shot with James Madison at plus 5.5, and that's pretty much it. Those are the three plays that I really wanted to identify and ask you about. You have anything to say about any of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all over James Madison.
Right.
I think that with an interstate rival in Virginia coming to town, playing shaky basketball and not willing to lay any kind of points with them.
Right.
So I 100% agree with you there. I think that James Madison gives you an old bowl of good old cock soup, and it's dedicated and delivered to the Virginia Cavaliers.
Yeah. All right. You can make that official, Jimmy the Bag. I'm seeing 5.5 minus 107. We don't have to line shop. James Madison, full game, plus 5.5 minus 107.
all right, let me just lock that in. But not with Northridge or Belmont St. Louis.
Well, I'll say this on the Belmont total, Pete. I do think that if we're going to get scoring in this game, we are going to get that first half over. Mm-hmm. What we have seen with St. Louis is that they have a dedication to penetrate the paint and get to the rim, get to the free throw line. And when they get there, they make their free throws. So, obviously with overs, we need lots of scoring with the clock stopped. I think that we get that in this game from both these teams.
Yeah, I just don't understand why it's even juiced a little bit to the under right now at 149 at Pinnacle. Of course, that could change, but I'll hold off on that one.
All right, so you're adding James Madison plus 5.5. So before we put a bow on this show and review all action, we come to... We come to sweet, sweet taint, and it is Bradley at Toledo. Toledo opening up at 5.5 points, now 5s and 4.5s on the board. This total opened up at 144.5 and hasn't moved. We'll start with Pete. Did you take a look at taint?
I'm sorry, which play was that?
Bradley Toledo.
Yes. Let me just quickly review my notes here. Yeah, that's going to be I think that's a pass for me as of right now. Nothing to say about that one as of right now.
Max, did you take a look at Sweet Taint?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely seems like some really nice lady taint, but there is stuff to be aware of. Vili Teravainen is back for this Bradley team, hitting threes, and it's a dangerous team because they've won a bunch of games in a row. They took care of business against Northern Iowa at home, dismantled SIUE, and now they got to go on the road and keep this winning streak alive against Toledo and RJ Dennis and Ryan Rollins. So I think it's a real difficult matchup for them. They have to slow Toledo down. Toledo has to play at their style and pace and tempo in order to win and cover this game. So if you like Toledo, I definitely fucking like it also. If Taint likes it, then it's a double like. And go Toledo. Fuck with your eyes open.
All right. Backing Toledo here for Maxwell Smart, but not official here for record keeping. No. Okay. Let's review college basketball action here. Oakland Golden Grizzlies -2 at -108 for Maxwell Smart. Then he moves on to Northeastern -2 at -107, and that's both Max and Pete. Then Max moves on Charleston Cougars first half +2 at -105, full game +4 at -108, and full game over 149 at -110 for Max. Then Max is on the over 139.5 in South Dakota Coyotes at Northern Colorado Bears and +10 at -110, while Pete is on the South Dakota team total over 65.5 at -105. Pete's also on James Madison +5.5 at -107, and the taint play of the day is Toledo -4.5 at -110. Maxie, thank you so much for rolling with us, my man. You can catch Maxwell Smart every day, 5 p.m. Eastern, alongside Connor Mack in our big NCAA Net Profits show, and follow him on Twitter at CBMS420. Maxie, my man, any last words for the Great Capper Sport in the show?
Yeah, listen, I think that if you have a spare potato and you're not going to mash it, bake it, or roast it, you should take it outside, whip it at someone you don't like, and tell them, how you like me now, asshole? So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go see my bookie. I'm going to bring a potato. I'm going to whip it at his face. I'm going to get my envelope, and I'm going to run for my fucking life. Okay? It's going to be great, and hopefully I make it back for the show at 5 o'clock with Connor.
Oh, you do the Lord's work, Max. Thank you for your hustle. We love you very much. Have a great show tonight, and go get that cash today, my friend.
Take care of it. I shall take care of business, boys. Get those winners. Love you, chat.
There he is, Maxwell Smart. All right, let's review all action. We have the NFL show coming up tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm coming off my 6th straight winning week, 6 in a row. 6 in a row, and I needed it. Pete, I didn't tell you this. And I was talking to my girlfriend about this yesterday. I don't know how we managed to do it for the years that we've worked together, but there was never a sport where we were both getting killed.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you flip a coin twice, there's only a 25% chance that they both come up tails. So there's that. But other than that, yeah, no, we did. You know what? We did.
Always one of us.
Yeah.
Always one of us succeeding. And with Bebsy and I in NFL, we were both losing. And I was down a little over 9 units, like 9.68. Bebsy was down 19 units, and it was the week 9. And I said, this is going to be the last show. Let's change around. I told Slaughter, I was like, look, we can't have a show where we both just suck. And he, and it wasn't like he was like, yeah, you're right. You guys got it. But he was like, he just listened. He understood the situation. And since then, I've won 6 weeks in a row to keep the show alive. I needed it.
There you go, because you wanted it, because you focused. You looked inside of yourself and you said, Jimmy the Bag, do you really want this? And you said yes. Look what happened.
Thankfully. But I couldn't believe that we never ran into that, because every time I would fail miserably at the sport, you would have a great season. And I was
wasn't a perfect show, but we did some good stuff over the years. You know what I'm saying? It's like Van Halen, like David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen. Were they a perfect band? No, but they did some nice things over the years.
They did. And Penny Place Horses says,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Jimmy the Bag.
Says Cats are Bombers for the Grey Cup. I'm still working on it. Still working on it. So 100% I will have a bet, but I'm still working on it. All right, let's review NHL, and that's where we are eating. And so is Mr. Gokster. All three of us are looking very good. Pete 31-21 up 7 units. Average line minus 111. I'm 76-72. Average line 108 plus 108, and I'm plus 7.46 units. So we're both. That's what we're doing best at right now. I'm on the Columbus Blue Jackets first period at plus 175. I'm on the Lightning minus 1.5 at plus 115. Jose doubled up on the Islanders minus 150 and the Islanders on the puck line at plus 170. Pete and I stayed off of that spot, but I can understand why he's backing the Islanders. These two teams coming back off of COVID, it just makes me really uncomfortable. Rem says you guys should move back to Costa Rica and do it all over again. That's what Rem says. We have Pete on the Preds team total over 2.5 at minus 139. I'm on the over 6 at minus 115 at Anaheim Buffalo. Then I'm on the Blues full game at plus 130. Pete's on the Blues first period over a half at minus 145. Interesting spot. Mr. Gokster is on New York, Ottawa under. New York, Ottawa under. Then Carolina, Winnipeg, we are off. Rangers, Blackhawks off. Oh, by the way, it looks like Marc-Andre Fleury has been confirmed.
Yeah.
So we've gone full circle on that. Minnesota, Edmonton, we are off, and Pete is on the Flames first period at minus 125. Then in NBA, Wham is on KD over 29.5 points at plus 128. Pete is on the Nets first half, minus 1.5 at minus 110. Wham is on the Spurs first quarter at plus 102. Pete is on the first quarter under 54 at minus 107. Jose and Wham are going up for a steak dinner on the total at 220. Wham is on the over 219.5 minus 110 for an official pick, while Jose is on the under 220 minus 109. And I'm on the Lakers minus 2.5 at minus 110. And we've already gone over NCAA basketball. So that is our show. Pete, we love having you on Tuesdays.
Hey Jim, I also have to give out 3 birthday picks.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You do. You're absolutely right.
So we'll take that long.
Okay. I love it. Yes, I love it. You know what I think, Jose? I think we need music to add to the Pete's birthday pick background. If you give him more, I mean, it's exciting. And I love the pick of Pete with the candles coming out of his forehead. Okay, Pete, take it away. Jared TG says this part of the show really tests how fast I can write. And
all right, so first we have Tim Montana BX. Tim Montana BX. Matty Ice was solid enough to give him a whole birthday card, /pick card. I just need Pete's birthday pick. Tim Montana BX, happy birthday to you. I'm going to give you St. Louis goal in the first period. Yes, minus 145. St. Louis, of course, lost the last game against Florida. Florida seems to start, a little bit slow at times, get down. St. Louis is at home. Wouldn't be surprised if Florida wins the first period 2-1 or something like that. So that's why I'm going to take that instead of the St. Louis first period money line. So I'll take St. Louis first period goal. Yes, minus 145. Team total over a half goal in the first period. Then we have Real Deal Prime. He said my birthday too. So I said, happy birthday. You don't get a pick unless you specifically request it. And then he said, I want a pick. Happy birthday to you, Real Deal Prime. Hope you have a great year. This year, your birthday pick will be Calgary first period money line, minus 125. I know that could push, but okay, that's the birthday pick. Calgary first period money line, minus 125. I like the coach. I think he's going to have him at least come out and if not get a win, a hot start against San Jose. We talked about how you don't like Jimmy doesn't want to fade San Jose at home. I understand that, but in this spot, first period, I'll take Calgary first period money line, minus 125. And then we have Earl Sports Bets. What's good, guys? Just got done with my show. Loshak, it's my birthday. What's the birthday pick? Happy birthday to you, Earl Sports Bets. I'll hit you up with James Madison plus 5.5 minus 107. We talked about it before with Maxwell Smart. Maxwell Smart likes it as well. And I think this is a big game for King. What'd you say, Jim?
Oh, I coughed. I
Oh,
apologize.
yeah, big James for James Madison. I think they have the talent to be able to take it down to the wire, like I'm sure they want to. 5.5, nice bunch of points there. That's your birthday pick. Earl Sports Bets, James Madison plus 5.5 minus 107. 3 birthday picks for today, December 7th, 2021.
I love it. I love it. Happy birthday, Tim, Real Deal, Prime, and Earl Sports Bets. We love you guys. Thank you for rolling with us. Jared TG said my birthday picks went 2-0. His birthday picks went 2-0 last week. I thought you were going to lose your shit when I coughed, Pete. It's just because I've been watching these Wiz Khalifa videos where if everyone's having a good time and if somebody coughs, well, then they have to go.
Oh.
And they have to fucking leave.
No, it takes a lot more than that to make me lose my shit, Jimmy the Bag.
The world's changed now. The world's changed. Because now if you cough, well, you have to fucking leave. Tim Montana BX birthday pick, St. Louis first period goal, minus 145. Real Deal Prime birthday pick, Flames first period, minus 125. And Earl Sports Bets gets James Madison plus 5.5, minus 107. Join us at 8 p.m. Eastern. Join us at 8 p.m. Eastern for our big NFL show. And let's keep fucking winning. Let's keep winning. Pete, we love you very, very much. Thank you for rolling with us. But we know we have no show without these great cappers in the chat. The birthday boys that we just shouted out, Piker, a.k.a. Seamus Ignoramus. Mr. Gokster will be on our show tomorrow and Thursday. Anthony Sullivan, BT, Billy Friedrich, Carlos Smith, Andrew G. Puzzler, Jared T.G. Rem Most. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Barry Roselle, for show Cash. We love you guys. Thank you for all of your support, your humor, and your insights. It means everything to us. Michigan Mel says going to tune in more often. Great show, guys. Thank you, Mel, my guy. But most importantly, let's get fucking paid. Let's get that cash on behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio. That's the one thing we can promise you guys is honesty and transparency in our record keeping. That is the only lock that there is that we will be honest, whether it's embarrassing or it makes us look good. And that's the only, and we'll never sell you anything. Pete and I will never sell you anything. We just want to cash with you, and we're thankful for your support.
I will sell you shirts. Go buy shirts from the Pub Sports Radio shirtstore.com. Let's go.
Okay. On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio.
What about selling merch where we don't profit, but we get reimbursed our costs? We might do that, right? Merch.
Well, also, yeah, they're looking for Pete Loshak merch, so you should talk with the boys.
Let's do it. Hell yeah.
I've been looking for Jimmy the Bag merch for ages. Getting Jimmy to give me contributions on a shirt is like asking him to give me money. It's impossible. It's just impossible. I have to fight him for it. And by the way, Pete, he doesn't text me back anymore. Pete, have you gotten to this relationship stage with him? He doesn't text me back anymore.
No,
yeah.
I always.
Yeah, he didn't respond to my last bunch of DMs on Twitter, and I was like, wow. We're close again. This is great. I was so flattered. I was so happy because if you're really close with someone, you don't have to respond right away, do all that bullshit. Yes, I am newly in that zone with Jim. It's great. I love it.
Okay, I love you guys. On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio, let's get that cash. Let's say, hey, those bookmakers,